So you just made Americans pay more for everything that comes from Canada because they showed a commercial you didn't like? That sounds like being a snowflake, if you ask me.
They're posting, bro. I don't know if you're acting stupid or you're
Oh, this guy DM'd me and asked me to debate.
purposely just like misconstruing
He's Deaf Noodles on Instagram, I think.
what I'm saying.
It did happen. Yeah, we had funding for things that are outside of the country for transgender balls, transgender plays, transgender balls. Yes, they exist.
Of those people that are sitting in ICE detention facilities right now, how many do you think have been convicted of a violent crime?
Well, 100% because they're all illegal. And
I said convicted of a violent crime.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Hi, I'm Isaiah Martin. I'm a former candidate for the United States Congress, and I'm here today surrounded by 20 MAGA Republicans. My first surrounding claim is that Trump's mass deportation plan is making us less safe. Hey, how's it going, brother? Good to see you.
Great to meet you. It's interesting that you claim that because according to the DHS, 70% of the people who have been deported so far have been criminals, either caught in the act. Yes. I'm surprised you're surprised. You ran for Congress and you don't know this?
That's what those numbers said?
That is 70%. The other 30% are people who went through the entire immigration process and had some sort of deportation detainer. So that is 700,000 people were deported like that. 1.9 million people self-deported so far. That's all DHS data. It's publicly available. You can look it up. So I'm just, how are you standing for criminals? Is that what you're doing right now?
Of interior removal, 70% of the people deported literally have no DHS.
That's according to DHS? Where are you getting your data from?
DHS.
What day? This is like just recent.
What day? Last Tuesday, sir.
Last from up to October or mid-October of this year.
So we're going to need a fact check on this because I literally checked yesterday.
Not convicted criminals. 70% of the people deported are not convicted criminals under interior removal.
They were people that had either been convicted criminals.
No.
Or, hold on, are we about to dramatically expand it to or accused of crimes?
They had, we're like at a stalemate because now you're claiming something, I'm claiming something from the same source. So
70% of the people that have been deported under interior removals are not convicted criminals, and that is a fact.
Okay. That's not a fact.
Got him.
It literally is.
It's 70%. I'm telling you, I looked at it.
I think you got it upside down.
At the end of the day, it is what's happening. They literally published the photos of everybody who's being deported.
So I didn't realize that they posted every single photo on Twitter.
No, they published the majority of them, yeah. But there's data.
Really?
This is, yeah, I mean, you're hitting back at me.
You're saying they deported hundreds of thousands of people and they post pictures of every single one.
They're not posting. See, this is, what you're doing here is you're building like this false deflection around it. I didn't say everybody. I said they're posting photos of people who are being deported, yes.
That means that they're deporting.
They're posting, bro, I don't know if you're acting stupid or you're purposely just like misconstruing what I'm saying.
Yeah. But here's my argument. Under Barack Obama, of those that were deported under interior removals, 92% of them were convicted criminals. Of that 92%, 81% of them were considered tier one, worst of the worst per se. I think that is something that makes us a lot more safe than literally roaming around to go get grandmas in CVS that speak Spanish or going to that construction
that's an absolutely false narrative because that's actually
that's just what the facts say. I mean, the facts just don't really care about
see, this is common with what the left does. You guys just
the left loves facts.
No,
that's kind of how that goes.
Again. That's not what you guys do at all. For anybody watching at home, this is what they do. They get a piece of data, they fabricate a narrative around it, and then they try to sell it to you as a truth, when in fact it's not. So
your data.
He got owned. Sorry, you got owned.
I came here with a piece of data. You completely rewrote it in real time.
No, I gave you the facts.
You completely rewrote it. I mean, I'm surprised you ran for Congress. You're one of the most disingenuous, dishonest people that I've ever met in my entire life.
Jesus.
I was literally taken aback for a second. I was like, how? Like, I looked this up yesterday. How is this guy sitting here lying so blatantly? You should be ashamed. No, seriously, dude. I can see it in your face. No, you know, you literally just sat here and lied. And you're like breaking down in real time.
Breaking down?
So incredibly so tell me, why are you so in favor of criminals being in this country?
True, good question.
I just told you that 70% of the people that Trump is supporting literally are not convicted criminals for interior removals. I mean, I don't understand what about this.
So you really buy into that narrative. That little grandmas are walking around. Oh my God! Oh, let's get grandma. Let's kick her out of the country.
That's literally what they're doing.
That's not what they're doing. Cite one case like that.
Uh-oh.
One case
Do you know a specific case?
At the taco stand getting deported.
Name all the deported people.
There we go. There we go. You can't cite.
Are you denying the fact that?
No. I'm holding you to account because that's a narrative you're just running with, and then you can't cite a specific example.
He should say, name one murderer that got deported. Who has the names?
What I'm telling you.
Again, this man is deeply disingenuous. Thank God you're out of politics. We don't need more lying politicians like you.
What we don't need.
We don't need more lying politicians like you. I'm running for Congress too. I'm actually still in the race. Yes. Okay. In Hollywood, Glendale, Burbank, and Pasadena. We need people who tell the truth. We don't need liars like you.
When this episode comes out and they show the fact check and you are miserably wrong, as you clearly
I'm not going to be wrong.
And they show this is going to be really beautiful when America gets to watch the fact that the person running to be your next congressman literally cannot read data.
This guy's breaking down. He's like looking at the clock. Please get me out of here.
I think I'm doing pretty
good. You looked
at
the clock, dude. You're breaking down in real time. I can see your face is like twitching.
I think I'm just chilling.
You don't seem like it.
Because here's the reality. Is that under Barack Obama, we know that we focus more on the convicted criminals. And you guys just aren't. I'm sorry that the numbers don't back up what you're talking about, but that's just the reality.
They literally do.
This is just going to be just so beautiful because when they show this fact check, we're just going to, I guess one of us is going to go viral over this, I guess.
Pause.
How can a guy be so confident in something and be so wrong?
I think we pause.
Pause.
Okay, well.
Papa.
This is going to be a great fact check, I will say.
Hey, it's great to meet you.
Good to see you, brother.
I'm going to start saying something that might not make everyone else like me, but I actually think you've been real honest during this conversation.
Ooh, brave.
And so, but I want to start with, I don't know if it's 30 or if it's 70%, as y'all were debating, but even if it's 30%, shouldn't all of those 30% be deported?
Here's the problem. Is that ICE has a certain amount of resources. Just like, for example, police officers. We have a lot of our officers focusing on violent crime. So when it comes to the limited resources that ICE has, I would say that it would make more sense to go after the worst of the worst violent terrorists that are in this country. We focus more on those folks under Barack Obama's administration, and I think that it makes more sense to go after those folks now. Because currently what we're seeing is an ICE is literally going to go get folks blanket across the country. It's leading to so many mistakes, like, for example, the grad student, the student that was a college student in Georgia that was literally detained in an ICE detention facility for 2 weeks, literally as a result of a mistaken identity. I don't think that that's something that keeps us more safe in this country.
So can we start with points of agreement? I think that might be useful. Can we, regardless of how we get there, can we agree that those 30% who got deported should have been deported?
The convicted criminals?
Convicted criminals.
Yes.
Which you said is 30, someone said it was 70, whatever. So we start there. Okay. So now we have to talk about the remaining, I'm going to say 70%, because I believe your stat. To me, it seems that those people are also making our civilization unsafe because they promote a culture of lawlessness. When you have a set of person, a category of person who is by definition an outlaw, they themselves have to be afraid of the police for normal things. And they encourage their friends then to be afraid of the police for normal things. And so you create a culture where people are afraid of the police because of things that have nothing to do with them. And so when these people are around, they actually make it such that the people near them can't be pro-police. And so if you deport the people who aren't criminals themselves, but who exist as a category of outlaw, and you remove this outlaw category, you no longer have this semi-enforced law situation, and then we can move to a place where we have fully enforced law. And so I think that we both agree that less crime is good, like obviously, and I think that when the best way to get rid of crime is to police crime. When you punish criminals, they stop doing crime. But you need people to believe in the police. You need people to love the police. You need people to want to be safe.
Do undocumented immigrants commit less crime than American citizens?
I think that's probably true. But the problem is that if they get caught up in...
So if they commit less crime, then how does that fill the narrative that you're referring to?
For example, imagine I'm an illegal immigrant. I'm not. But imagine that I was. And some crime happened.
In my opinion, the best counter to this is, like, you don't really care about a culture of lawlessness. You kind of do. You don't really care as much about this. You really do care about the particular laws we're talking about, because there are some crimes. Are traffic infractions considered crimes? There might be a different name for these. Like, if they don't write, like, an infraction might be just not even a misdemeanor, actually. But, like, there are some things where I don't actually believe that people gave a fuck about the constitutional arguments to the speeding cams. I think people just think that speeding cams are bullshit because sometimes you just want to speed, and it sucks if you get caught speeding. I feel like that was emotionally where most of those arguments came from. Like, I have a right to confront my accuser. It's like, no, I just want to get a ticket for going 60 and a 55. Okay, this, especially a 100% guaranteed ticket. Okay, fuck that, because you'll hear people and people complain. Like, I feel like traffic infractions are one of the areas. I'm sure there are other things too, for maybe like trespassing or other things, where people will literally say, like, I broke the law and I can't believe I got in trouble for it. People will say some shit like, I was only going 59 in a 55 and he pulled me over. I was like, well, I mean, like, you were going over the speed limit. Why are you mad, right? Well, because no, that. Like, so I feel like that's why it's an important reason to fixate on the, what kind of people are we removing? Bad people that are murdering people, committing felonies, big misdemeanors, like violent crime and shit. Probably good to get rid of these people. I think that's great. But, like, obsessively focusing on every single person that's in the country undocumented, like, is that really the best investment of resources? Is that really the best way to make the country safer? I don't know about that one, Chief.
To me, I am less likely to call the police because I'm afraid that I could get deported. And same thing if I'm in a group of people and one of us is an illegal immigrant and a crime happens, we are now afraid to call the police because of what might happen to our friend. And so this category of outlaw creates a culture of not believing in police.
Let's see if we can agree on this. Okay. I support making sure that we can have a strong border in our country.
Yes,
I think that that's fair.
Thank you.
Okay. I do not support violent criminals in our country.
Yes, sir.
I don't think the vast majority of Americans.
Also, what this guy technically just gave an argument for, although he wouldn't agree with it, because you could walk him through that. Like, okay, so you think it's probably bad and it creates an environment of lawlessness and criminality if people are afraid to call the police just because their friend might be deported. Do you think it would be maybe for some cities then, if they chose to have a policing system that didn't necessarily turn people over to DHS, whenever they felt like they were an illegal immigrant, maybe then that would get rid of that bad incentive? Because what you've just described is a sanctuary city, that's what you're arguing for. But they would be, no, hold on. And they would reverse course on that, because they don't actually give a fuck about the safety argument. They don't actually care about the safety argument. Because also, having a sanctuary city is more likely to work, like, obviously, because you do the thing and then that's it, versus we're going to deport every single illegal immigrant in this entire city, right? That's probably never happening, Or even like 50% of them, or even 20% of them, apparently.
Let's do. I also support making sure that there's a pathway to citizenship for those that are here that are undocumented. So the question then comes, what do we do with the limited resources that ICE has in front of us? I personally believe that we should be more focused on convicted criminals, violent people that are in our country. But when we have a system in which 70% of the people that are literally detained by ICE itself are those that have not been convicted of a crime, 47% of those people have not even been charged with a crime. They're just people.
53% have been charged with a crime then?
What?
So 53% have been charged with a crime then?
No, that's not what I
just said. 47% haven't been charged.
47%. Oh,
so what percent have been?
Yeah, 53%.
So
have been
over
charged.
half are charged with a crime.
Yeah, if you look at what the 47% number before Trump got in office, it was around 10%-ish.
Okay.
Right? So what I'm saying is that we should be more focused on rounding up convicted criminals in this country, people that are going to be doing things as it is.
So would you agree on giving more money to ICE to go get all the convicted criminals?
But that's not really what's happening, right? We're already paying. We're literally spending more
So
money on
much
ICE this year than the Spanish military is on their entire thing.
Unbelievable.
And we're seeing the results.
Okay, that's Spain.
Well, but I'm just saying. Well.
Sorry, hold on. If you're European, you'll understand that. He thinks that Spain has a population of like 500,000 people, probably. What the fuck? Well, that's Spain.
Like, I don't want to talk about the Spanish
but come on, that's an entire military.
It's not 1453.
I mean, but that's an entire military, right? What I'm saying is,
sure, it's more than
what I'm saying is that it doesn't make sense to me that we're spending all this money and 70% of the people that we're deporting, right? So at the end result, right? Not just the folks that are detained, the end result of the folks that we're saying, okay, we're going to get you out of here. 70% of them have not been convicted.
So can we address the fact that having a category of person who is an outlaw, who cannot rely on the police, makes the entire neighborhood unsafe?
Because what's happening in this country is that those people that are undocumented are those that commit crimes at a low rate. Here's the real thing. Because here's what really, because here's what makes us less safe.
Here's what you missed.
What makes us less safe in this country is going and having someone to do these complete raids, and you go find these mistaken cases of identity in which American citizens have been detained.
Tragedies, everyone.
Every single one of them. And those are at an increase.
All 10 of them.
That makes us far more unsafe than what the thing that you're talking about.
All
in these
policing
policies
is always going to have mistakes, but if you want to claim that just
those situations have increased.
Well, because policing has increased.
So what's happening in this country is that what you're focusing on rounding up people that have not been convicted of a crime.
Who are a category of outlaw.
And as a result
can you
of that,
address the fact that those people make neighborhoods more unsafe?
No,
all policing is always going to have some accidents, and they're all terrible, and they should all not happen. But if you're going to have a system, you're going to mistake sometimes, and they're all bad, and I'm opposed to all of them. But I'm talking about, first, we agreed on the 30%, which is a huge point of agreement that I think we need to elevate. And then on the 70%, these people cannot be regulated by the system in the correct way. They do not trust the system in the correct way. They definitionally, by the status of who they are, make the neighborhood less safe because it makes so everybody in the neighborhood can't rely on the police or their friend might get deported. So you have to remove these people in order to get rid of this semi-enforced, semi-category of law. You have to do that. Do you not believe that?
Are you saying that neighborhoods that have high percentages of undocumented people are oftentimes some of those violent neighborhoods in cities? Is that what you're saying?
That might be the case. I'm not sure. It probably would be the case,
true.
but that's not what I'm trying to say.
If you look at cities that have higher percentages of undocumented populations, those cities oftentimes have lower crime rates.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the case or which way that would go. But I'm telling you, you have to address this category of outlaw. I don't know why we're going in circles here. Do you not believe that?
Because I don't think that the argument that you're making really has anything to do with the root of the issue.
The root of the issue.
The root of the issue is about safety.
Yes.
And if we have the fact that our ICE, as it stands today, is more focused on rounding up people that have not been even accused of a crime, instead of violent terrorists that are in this country, violent people in America, I think that itself makes us less safe. Because here's who's celebrating. The people in this country that are doing wrong. Because they know that people are more focused on going to a Fiesta or a grocery store or a Home Depot or a place of work or a plant or somewhere else to round up people.
Are celebrating this?
I would say so. Because they're literally being rounded up at a lower rate.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority.
It's great to talk with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
One of the issues that Trump mainly went on was immigration from both sides. And
Public mandate.
I find disingenuous the selective outrage to what makes it safe.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of children missing and not accounted for since the open borders. We have
hundreds of thousands of children. Again, scale. Hundreds of usually a single child murder, depending on the circumstance, can capture national attention. Okay? Hundreds of thousands of children. That's a huge number of hundreds of thousands.
$150 billion spent from American taxpayer dollars to house and educate and give welfare to illegal aliens. This takes away.
Give me an example of that.
Well, I mean, just look in New York, the $12 billion spent on housing immigrants in hotels. Just alone in California, $23 billion was taken away from our educational system to support illegal immigrants. Is that safe for the hardworking American, for the veterans who have to wait behind illegals who get fast-tracked in their health care? Is that safe for them?
What? When they say fast-tracked in their health care, what the f are they talking about? Like, if you go to a hospital, is it like this motherfucker that can't even speak English just got his free testosterone checked at no cost because of the amazing healthcare that's like what are we what kind of healthcare are we talking about? Like, my guess is going to be, if you're an illegal, probably some of the only healthcare you're consuming is like going to the emergency room. This guy, he got all the labs. This motherfucking dude comes in every Friday for his free MRI. It's bullshit.
Now, I probably find agreement with you that people who want to do it the right way, there should be less bureaucracy. There should be people who want to contribute to the American dream, who are here in good faith. My father's an immigrant. My grandparents are immigrants.
They always are.
You have to do it the right way. And sometimes when you have such irresponsible management of the borders, as we've seen with open borders for the last few years, there will be sometimes an overcorrection.
What is Donald Trump doing to make it easier to do things the right way?
Well, he's closed the borders. That's number one.
Clappa.
So what is he doing to make it easier to come across the border the right way?
He hasn't.
Well,
done
he's
anything.
making new policies
Like
where
which ones?
he has
Like
to
what?
ensure that
He
they're
hasn't
actually
done
asylum seeking.
No, that's not what I asked, though. What is he doing to make it easier for because you just said that you support making it easier for legal immigration,
Yes.
right? I think that we all
That-
probably should agree with that.
No.
What is he
Not
doing
really.
to advance that goal?
Well,
Only
the
white people.
first thing you do is you have to cut off the huge drain of
You've said that.
open border
Now-
policy where
That's not what I asked you.
What has he done to make it
and I
easier to
think
immigrate?
Can you
the
just tell me
theme
one
here
thing?
today-
One
no,
possible
he's shut
thing?
the borders.
That's not what I asked you.
But that's a major thing. You
I asked
have to
what
start at the root
specific
cause
thing
and
is
go
he
from
doing
there. Well,
to
I
make
mean,
it easier for people to legally come into this country.
well, I know when he was in the first term, he had to remain in Mexico policy. I'm not sure of the exact policies, but what he's doing is
nothing.
working. He has
Nothing.
Again, you're skirting away from the issue.
So nothing.
Americans
Nothing.
put Trump in office because
So
they
if a
saw
central
if
pillar-
Kamala was still in office, we would have
So if
open
a-
borders and it
so
would
if
be
a
even
central
more
pillar-
unsafe.
If a central pillar to
Kamala.
your argument is making
Kamala.
it easier for legal immigration into this country, and you cannot tell me one specific example of anything he's doing for people to come across legally, then how does any
you're
of that
turning
make
my
any
words
sense?
around. I do think it should be easier for the right people to come in legal
So then
ways.
what is he doing to advance that?
But again,
Nothing.
in the meantime, we have a big problem of
So you-
illegals, many
you
of them
don't have
criminals.
anything.
When you talk about people who talk about unsafety, let's talk about Lincoln Riley, an American who was just jogging and living her life.
Oh boy. Whoo, that's their George Floyd. Oh my God. This motherfucker. Damn, they have ridden this girl's corpse through the planet, through the crust of the earth. Oh my God. Talk about beating a dead horse.
And was brutally murdered by an illegal alien. Is that safe? Is that safe to let people who are gang members and nationalists and drug cartels into our country with the fentanyl crisis a real thing? Is that safe for our kids? So let's not skirt the issue.
What happened to Laken Riley, I think every American agrees was absolutely horrific. I think we can say, and it's just like, for example, when Molly Tibbetts was killed under the Trump administration by an undocumented person in this country. This happens across, and every time it happens, it is wrong. And I think we all should say that. Any person that commits a violent crime needs to be locked up, deported. We all agree with that. But here's the central problem, is that what you're focused on is rounding up people in this country that have not been convicted of a crime. That does not make us more safe. Because when you have,
that's a blanket statement.
that's just simply the facts.
Trump has run on criminals, violent criminals first.
Let me ask
That's
you,
what he's
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Of those people that are sitting in ICE detention facilities right now, how many do you think have been convicted of a violent crime? Just take a guess.
I could not. I trust
clue.
the Trump
Take a
administration.
guess.
I
Just
don't
throw a
know.
number. Just take it. What do you think it could be?
Well, 100% because they're all illegal. And
I
they've
said
had
convicted of a
a-
Ah,
violent-
there it is. Always do that. Always do that. Like, what kind of women do you hate? I hate the women that act like cunts. Okay, well, like, why is it that you seem like you hate every woman or whatever, blah, blah, blah? Because all women are cunts. Based. Absolutely based. You got it. Hell yeah. Okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I said how many have been convicted of a violent crime?
Why have
Owned.
they not filed the papers?
I
Why
just
did they take
I
advantage of the
asked
system?
Yeah,
It
just
doesn't
fill out the
matter.
papers. It's so
percentage
easy.
Of these 100%, you think only
Because if they're there
only
illegally.
5% of the people in ICE detention facilities today have been convicted of a violent
Are they
crime.
here undocumented?
5%.
Are they here undocumented?
5%. 5%.
Are they
Not
here
all of them.
Wait. Are they here undocumented?
Not
This
all of them.
screams about what people are seeing in this country. You literally believe that 100% of the people
If
in
they're
ICE detention facilities
undocumented-
have been convicted of a violent crime.
Okay,
Only
not violent.
5%.
I said a crime?
I
Is
asked
that they're
you about violent
undocumented?
crime.
I don't know the statistic of violent crime, but do you
I just
understand why
asked
they're there
you.
in the first place?
You just told me that
Okay.
number was 100%.
Okay, they're undocumented 100%.
Boom.
The priority
That's
we should
not
all
true.
agree on should be violent crime first.
95% of the people in ICE detention facilities have not been convicted of a violent crime.
I don't think that's a true statistic.
That's a fact from DHS itself.
I don't.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please take your seat.
Got him.
How's it going? Martin, nice to meet you.
Let's see. What's my last name?
Oh, it's a great name. Awesome. So I guess on this illegal immigration point, you talked about affordability earlier, so I want to talk about that a little bit. Do you know how much the average American citizen contributes in taxes to subsidize illegal immigrants in this country?
How much?
That's $1,000 per U.S. taxpaying citizen subsidizing illegal immigrants in our country.
2023 report by the Federation for American Immigration Reform estimated that illegal immigration cost U.S. taxpayers on a net average of $956 per person. Per person annually. As with previous citations of Harris estimations, this one falls under the same criticism. I think this is like a mega. I would have to evaluate the thing before just saying it, but I'm pretty sure on blanket, like FAIR always gives like pretty contentious estimates related to immigration.
We also talked about affordability earlier.
You're talking about federal taxes, right?
Yes. Why are house prices so expensive right now?
We haven't built enough over time.
Well, I mean, that's part of the reason, but I would say another part of the reason is because we've had 10 million people enter our country in the last 4 years who aren't supposed to be in our country. And guess what? When you kick out, according to the admin, 2 million people.
So these motherfuckers are broke, lazy, coming to our country, but they're also buying up all the houses?
Over this first year, we've had housing prices fall this quarter. Why do you think housing prices have fell this
Over
quarter?
the last few years, right? Let's just say over the last 4 years. When do you think the majority of housing inflation happened? When years?
Tell me.
2021, 2022, as a result of that?
Probably.
We know our highest years for immigration into this country were after that. So the results is that we saw in the time period in which we had the most illegal immigration coming into this country that was not coincided with the increase in housing prices.
Well, can you explain to me why housing prices have fell this quarter? What policy change has been brought about besides kicking out millions of people?
Because here's the root of the issue, is that when you look at, for example, what immigration as a whole, whether it's illegal immigration, whether it's legal immigration, we know that accounts for maybe 1%, maybe 2% of total housing inflation. The rest of it is the fact that we literally have not built up to the demand that we literally have in the country.
I agree on that.
That's the overarching point.
100% we should be building more housing.
So that's the reason why housing has gone up for a long time, no matter what it is. No matter, the facts are, in this country, we have not built enough housing.
Sure, but removing 10 million people would also do a whole hell of a lot to decrease the supply of people that are competing for housing.
Well, we also know that of the people that build those homes, 50% of those people are those that are immigrants into this country. If you go and you round up specifically these people, you're also going to be able to build less housing as it currently stands.
Okay, so why housing prices fell this quarter? The only policy change we've had that can relate to housing prices is people getting kicked out of our country.
That's not true.
What federal housing policy?
For example, in the city of Austin, they used federal funds, for example, to do something that they called, it was a big housing initiative that they had. It led to rents declining for the first time in a long time, housing prices declining for the first time in a long time. That was because they put pro-housing policies.
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing in Minnesota. What's happening in America is that more cities are coming around to understand that the more housing that you build, the lower that leads for regular people. That's what's happening. Because if you look at, for example, the rate of increase, the way that it stabilized and the way that it starts to go down, it follows a trend of more cities adopting pro-housing policies to build housing all across America. And that's a fact.
No, I mean, sure, like I said, I agree that we need to increase the supply of housing. But let's also go back to my point on how much American citizens are subsidizing illegal immigrants. Do you think it's a good thing that the average American is subsidizing $1,000 a year out of their taxpayer money to fund illegal immigrants?
What I don't think is a good idea is the fact that we're paying way more for that, for billionaires to go sip on pina coladas on private jets.
80% of Americans had their taxes cut by
That's what's happening in America right now.
Yes, 80% of Americans. That's in fact check. 80% of Americans had their taxes cut by the One Big Beautiful Bill for middle class Americans.
How so?
$80,000, $100,000. I think it was around $1,000 to $2,000.
What happened to the tax rate?
It went down.
It did?
Yeah, for 80% of Americans.
The tax rate?
Yeah.
Tax rate didn't go down.
Yes, it did.
Tax rate didn't.
That's in fact check right here. 80%.
The tax rate?
Yes, the effective tax rate for
the effective tax rate.
Yeah, the tax rate for Americans.
This is a game that Republicans always play when it comes to, it just depends on how you want to say it. Technically, no, I don't believe the tax rates changed. They just made permanent the tax cuts from the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. But Republicans will talk out both sides of their mouth when they want to talk about this. Because when you say things like, well, didn't this increase the deficit rate? They'll say, oh, no, it had no effect on the deficit whatsoever. Because they're already factoring in the cost from having those tax cuts being made permanent. But then when they talk about, so did you give Americans tax cuts? Oh, yeah, we did. We gave them all the taxes. Like, okay. And then I think they added a few things around the edges, like the no tax on tips if you make under 150K, and maybe, I don't know if they did the no tax on overtime, right? If you make under a certain amount for whatever bullshit, so.
Went down. I mean, do you disagree with that?
Well, because that's not what happened. What happened was maybe an increase percentage reduction and some other things. But a lot of those policies, and I just want to make sure this is very clear here. The policies for regular people and the tax cuts that were in the big, beautiful ripoff bill, per se, for those that make less than $200,000 a year, were supported by a lot of Democrats. Democrats supported these ideas. Nobody supported raising income taxes for folks that made less than $400,000 a year.
Kamala Harris
Nobody.
No. Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
Exactly. You know why? Because what we don't support is the fact that the richest corporations in America are getting away with paying little to nothing in taxes. What we know is that with the 21% corporate tax rate that we have, it's too low.
Okay, so perfect. I want to establish. You want to raise the corporate tax rate. You want to tax unrealized gains. You want to do all these things.
Did I say that?
I mean, I'm asking you because that's what Kamala Harris said.
I think that for those people that make more than $1 billion a year, they should pay a property tax style tax on their wealth. That is what's
okay. Well, you talk about corporate taxes because that's what Kamala Harris ran on. She ran on raising the corporate taxes and raising the effective gains tax. Can you at least acknowledge that is just economically suicidal for our country and would result in businesses slashing jobs and leaving our countries in droves?
You know what the top corporate tax rate was in the 1990s when Bill Clinton had the largest peacetime expansion of the American economy record? 35%.
Okay.
Higher than what it was now. Do you know what the effective corporate tax rate? Do you know what the,
like, I don't think corporate tax rates would impact things much. I'm not a fan of corporate tax rates. I think corporate tax is kind of dumb. It's tax income more, but I doubt that it would have some massively deleterious effect on the on corporate environments or whatever. However, it is funny that this guy will say, like, well, if we did higher corporate tax rates, that would destroy everything, and that would be so horrible. Oh, what about if we tariff every single thing this country imports from every single country on the planet with absolutely no concept of what a fair tariff would be, when the tariffs will end, how the tariffs are going to be levied, if they're going to be permanent, right? Do you think that would have a negative impact? No, that's actually perfectly fine. Okay.
You know what the effective corporate tax rate was when Barack Obama had 74 straight months of job growth in America? Do you know when that was?
I know that
you know what it was?
I know that when we slashed the corporate tax rates in 2017, that we had job growth under Donald Trump.
Do you know what it was?
What was it?
It was 35%.
Okay.
So in these massive periods of time in which we've had so much job growth in this country, tens of millions of jobs created in this country, we had a 35% corporate tax rate.
And then when we cut it again, there was even more job growth under the first Trump term.
That's literally not what happened. The rate of job growth literally declined right after that. We just continued on a trend and then it literally smoothed a little bit. That's kind of what happened.
No, we had record job growth under President Trump in 2017 up until the start of COVID.
That's just simply not true.
I mean,
because what happened?
You're just wrong.
Because you can say that I am all you want, but the reality is that under Donald Trump, the second the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was signed, we were on a period of job growth for a very long time, but the rate of increase started to smooth out a little bit. Because here's the reality, is that we saw that job growth in this country can continue with the top corporate tax rate of 35%. And all I'm saying here today is that when you go and you cut these big taxes for these big corporations, what happens to the deficit? It goes up. It goes up.
Right, because we need to spend less.
You are borrowing against our children's future. That's why you saw an emergence of $1 trillion deficits when Donald Trump signed that bill.
Well, I mean, that's mainly because of COVID and having to spend during COVID.
No, even if you look at the Committee for Responsible Budgets report, which is a nonpartisan committee of non-COVID related debt approved into this country. About $4.5 trillion approved on Donald Trump compared to about 2.4 trillion.
Okay, so then let me ask this: then when we fulfill, do you agree with
the facts are
requirements for Medicaid?
so the facts are is that when you go and you pass a piece of legislation like that, it adds more debt that all of us eventually have to pay, and it leverages our children's future.
Pause. We're out of time.
Thanks so much.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video.
Thank you, Straight Arrow News.
Is on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a
Wait,
time
what
of
happened to
media
Ground
bias and
News?
mistrust. Straight Arrow News helps you quickly find trusted information you need to understand the news, allowing you to dive deep into the topics that matter to you and the world around you. Their work is trying to break the bias bubble, helping you understand how every side of the political spectrum is reporting on a story, so you get a full picture of the news. That's why we're so happy to be partnering with Straight Arrow News. They deliver the facts, unbiased, balanced, and designed to make sense of a complex world, getting you the clarity you deserve and news you can trust. Go to san.com/surrounded or click the link in the description to check it out. By clicking that link, you're not just supporting this channel. You also take advantage of a better way to get the news. Welcome back to Trustworthy Journalism.
Wow.
Thanks again to Straight Arrow News for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
Let's go.
My next surrounding claim is that Trump prioritizes the wealthy while he leaves you behind. Wow.
Nice to meet you, I'm JP.
Good to see you, JP.
Let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Yeah, so
Never trust people with weird names that don't like use their first name. Your name is your first name, your middle name, and your last name. And but when people call themselves like, oh, like I'm JP, or I'm like sometimes people like use like a first name and middle name, like, oh, I'm John Paul or whatever. Really? Your first name is John Paul? No, my middle name is Paul. Or, I don't know. People use John Paul. Like, why? Just first name, like CJ. Why? Just, what, don't you have a name? That's weird. That's weird. Just use the first name. That's your name. Okay. They wanted to give you a different name, then they should have given you a different name.
I think that I can see your claim. I want to hear you argue it a little more if you want.
I mean, the main argument is that look at all the things that Trump promised. He promised that he would make us not pay taxes. He promised us that we would have gas prices national average less than $2 a gallon. And he promised that he would cut our energy bills in half within a year. It's a year. We don't have any of that. Our energy bills are up 11%. Meanwhile, we see the wealthiest 1% of Americans getting about $1 trillion worth of tax cuts with a big rip-off bill. I would say that's very clear that he's more focused on the wealthiest people in our country.
I think that the argument that I would make, and I think it's a structural one, is that
Trump can't control everything.
For the last 30 years, globalism has dueled our strategic thinking.
Ooh.
And if we want real change, it's not going to happen. Not in a year. It's going to be.
Didn't he say it would though?
Break, and that's just beginning.
Didn't Trump say day one? Didn't Trump say day one? Why are these guys okay with Trump lying? Trump didn't say it's going to be a long, arduous process. Trump didn't say it's going to take us a long time to build it. He says on day one he was going to do all these things. He said 100 trade deals in 100 days. He said on day one I'm going to bring all this stuff down. On day one I'm going to solve Ukraine, Russia. On day one I'm going to solve Israel, Palestine. He didn't do any of this. Why? What happened?
Fixation on consumers, on the products. But what we've lost is labor, and I think you,
I'm sorry,
should understand this.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was a bad thing to be concerned about prices.
Under Joe Biden,
I didn't know
we
that
had
was a
a 50 to 60% increase of border crossings. The illegal immigrant population, you can fact check me on this, Jubilee, but I think it almost doubled. It's like 10 million people came into this country. That affects working class Americans. Democrats don't care about this policy. The reality is that Democrats will be, tariffs are a tax on consumers. But what do you say about the workers in America that have lost their jobs? Millions and millions of jobs that have left this country. If you think this is going to change in a year, then you're wrong. We need policy that's brave and courageous, and that's what we're seeing with Trump.
First off, the unemployment rate is higher since Trump has taken office.
The unemployment rate I don't really
know what you're talking about.
This last quarter we had a 4% increase.
I think that we should stay focused on the fact
increased
that
much more
I
than
did
the
not
last year's
know
Biden administration.
that it was controversial.
When Trump got elected the first time and the economy went up, you guys said, it's because he's benefiting from the Obama economy. But now that it's the first year and the economy is starting to lift up, you guys
starting to lift up?
You guys don't say the same thing.
Is inflation going up? What are you talking about?
Do you remember Joe Biden's presidency? What do you think happens when the government expands and continues to spend? Let's millions of illegal immigrants in and does nothing. If you want to lower inflation and at the same time bring back jobs, you need to do two things. Domestic deregulation, while at the same time fighting the externalization of labor. We've let our country kill itself.
Wow.
And we don't want to do that no longer. If it's going to take some discomfort, I welcome it. And I think many Americans welcome it. What we're not going to do, and what the Trump administration is not going to do, that Democrats did, is ignore the American people. Yes, popular sentiment right now, they're not comfortable with the economy. But they have not been comfortable with the economy in the last 30 years.
Because you've been talking for a solid 3.5 minutes.
Do you think the economy has worked under Biden or under Obama?
Here's what we were talking about. I'm going to remind you about the prompt. The idea in front of us is that it was not me that put these expectations on Donald Trump. Trump said it himself. He said that he would cut our energy bills in half by a year. He said that he could just go walk into the office and get it done. And what's happened
we're exporting more LNG now than ever before. It's beginning.
And right, 11% up is a lot different than 50% down like what he originally promised. Trump's not delivering.
Why don't you like about our current energy policy?
Why is it that you cannot?
The Democrats are the ones that constrain energy. The Democrats are the ones that constrain pro-baby drill.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
That's fine.
I like you guys' energy. I will say that. Oh.
You're back.
She's quick.
Hello. I just kind of want to piggyback off some of the things I feel like my last friend was trying to get to. So, and you said Trump set the expectation for himself. And so what I feel like a lot of people do on the left is they hear Trump and they hear it through the lens of, I already hate him, I already want him to fail. So already you're coming at it from a very counterproductive perspective. Because I watched every Trump rally because I had to.
Really?
Absolutely, because I used to hate him. But what I found out was the reasons why I hated him was because of how things were cut up and presented to me for so many years. So I had to take it upon myself to go back. I had a lot of time in COVID to go back, watch every rally. A lot of it was hilarious, but it really gave me a full, better understanding of, oh, he was really saying this, right? So, because I used to be on the left, absolutely. How I see we're going to do it within a year is the policies are going to activate. We're going to have clear policies and we're going to make moves within the first year. Now, if you're being honest with yourself and you're being genuine, good things take time. Change takes time. We're not going to fix everything that fell apart in 1 year. We're not going to see the results by December. To me, that it would just be disingenuous to say that you believe that anybody could do that, especially since how we've suffered post-COVID. The globe suffered post-COVID. We have a lot to fix. So what I saw was him saying, hey, we're going to do these things, policy, we're going to have the strategy, the things set in place within the first year. Hence all the manufacturing deals. We have absolutely, NVIDIA, we have so much money coming into this country to build plants. All that's going to take time, and all of that's going to help the working class. Because let me tell you something, I'm also still the working class. I'm college educated. I know they said MAGA wasn't college educated or black, but I am. And let me tell you, but I'm also still working class. I also still drive Uber, drive Lyft. I clean a yoga studio, and let me tell you, like, usually those jobs go to, and no offense, but a lot of illegal immigrants. To be,
let me stop you. So first off, I acknowledge that you work hard, right? That is a lot of work, and I want to salute you for that. But the reality is that a lot of people in this country listen to Trump rallies, and they heard him say specific things, and that's what informed him that's what informed them to go and make the decision to vote for him. The reality is that when you make promises, you're going to be graded on whether or not you keep them. And the reality is that he promised that he would cut our energy.
Why do these people talk like this? I would have walked away if anyone decided to start a convo like this. I can't prove it, but part of the Tesla shit recently, where they said they're cutting back on, I think, all their car models except for one, the Model E or something. I think that we've already had, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I think we've already had these kind of like cyborg people who have, skin, they look real like the Terminators or whatever, who have already been implanted in society, who make videos and stuff. And there is this very specific archetype of these people. So you have to be some kind of minority. Usually black, but it can be an other type of minority, deaf, or like a woman or whatever. Usually black, sometimes women. I don't know if they ever do white women. No, I don't think. It'll usually be a minority for skin color. And then what you do is you make Instagram reels, you make TikTok videos, you make X videos, and they all follow the exact same type of format, right? So it'll basically be, I grew up my whole life, and I always voted Democrat. My family was working class. We were in a labor union. We always supported Clinton. And, in 2016, I hated Trump just like every other liberal. And I'd always heard these horrible things about him from mainstream media. And, I supported Biden and everything else. And then COVID really opened my eyes. Or some content creator really opened my eyes. Or somebody in liberal media said something and it really opened my eyes. Or I saw an episode of Joe Rogan and there was a guest on that really opened my eyes. And then when he did that, I went back and I looked through all of the old Trump stuff and I actually realized Trump was actually speaking truth to power more than I ever realized at the time. And that everything he said came true, and actually he was doing things to help working class Americans, and he's a really funny, down to earth guy. And now going forward, I'm actually like super MAGA, and I'm not biased. I call the shots fair, and Trump's not perfect, and blah blah blah. There's like this weird archetype thing, and it feels like almost like robotic. And there are so many random. They don't pop up on my thing. I have to be on my other Twitter account or whatever, where for whatever reason, I know there was a time period where I was scrolling getting these. I think it was around when I debated that Kaizen guy, because I was looking at some of his X reels or X videos, where there's like this. It's just this copy-pasted archetype for a minority figure that has the exact same backstory that's now like a complete and total MAGA dick suck on everything. And they try to present themselves as a super impartial, super fair, like I used to be brainwashed and now I've been broken out of the plantation and I'm going to tell it real, like how it actually is, whatever. And yeah, this woman is 100% that archetype. I don't know why. It's incredibly annoying, but whatever. Yeah, I think they're cyborgs.
Bills in half. That has not happened. It hasn't even remotely.
Have you seen on Twitter all the people about the gas prices? They're low here.
Hold up. Yeah. The energy bills are up 11%. That is a fact. But the national average for gasoline in this country is literally almost the exact same as what it was a year ago.
I know, but
it's about 5 cents less.
But even if you compare it by state, I feel like a lot of Democratic ran states are suffering.
It's an average.
Okay, but that includes all the Democratic states.
How's an average
all with huge populations.
How's an average calculated?
You calculate everybody together and then you divide it.
So were Democratic states included in the average last year?
Absolutely.
So they are included this year.
Okay.
So why are you mentioning this as if this is some new phenomenon?
Okay, what I'm
Blue
saying
states
is-
were in there last year as they are this year.
So you're
And this year, gas prices are, if you compare it between this week and
They're
this
lower.
week last year,
No, but
it's
they're
only
lower than
5
last
cents
year.
lower.
But they're
And it
lower
was
than
Trump
last
that
year.
promised that he would have
They
these
were
gas
lower,
prices
but the
less
prices
than
are lower
$2
than
a gallon.
last year, dude. There are so many people thanking Trump right now on
5 cents.
TikTok. Just look for it. I know you don't want to look for it and you don't want to see the
5
truth, but just look for it. It's so many people taking pictures of the gas prices in
5
Texas and
cents.
Louisiana going, dang, I ain't seen gas. It's $1.19. I done seen
not
that so many
happening.
times on
That
TikTok,
doesn't
bro.
happen.
I promise to goodness, all you gotta do is go look for it, baby.
You can
because
look
it's
at the
out there.
average.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You can look at the
trying to do
average.
numbers, but I'm telling you, real people.
Because
I'm a real
facts,
person sitting in front of you.
are over feelings. That's how things
It's
work.
feelings, it's reality.
Facts don't care about
It's
feelings.
reality.
That's how it
This is not a
goes.
feeling. It's
And
reality.
the reality is that the national average for gas is literally only 5 cents lower than what it was a year ago. And Trump
Oh,
said,
so it's lower. So we got it lower.
Trump said that he was going to have it less than $2 a gallon.
It's going to keep dropping.
Is that lower than
but
$2 a
it's
gallon?
lower. There's progress.
So you're going to celebrate 5 cents?
Yeah, I'm going to celebrate anything that's lower. Yes, but and it's going to keep going. I'm not in my ego, bro.
Says who?
You're coming at this in your ego.
In my
I'm
ego
coming-
because I'm looking at the facts?
No, I'm coming at this as an American who wants to see everybody prosper and succeed.
So here's what's not prospering in this country. The fact that people are seeing real wage growth in this country, literally half of what it was last year. The people in this country that are literally
Are you
watching.
talking about unemployment?
What?
Are you talking about unemployment?
Do you know what real wage growth is?
Absolutely.
What is it?
But I'm saying, okay,
She doesn't know.
right, wage growth as in how much we're making as Americans. Like if the money we take home is growing. That's what you mean.
Inflation,
Yeah.
wage growth.
Right, right.
How they make that determination.
Right.
And if you look at that number
Right.
with everything together,
Yes.
it's half of what it was last year.
Okay. But I'm saying there are so many different factors that contribute to that.
Foreclosures are up.
Absolutely.
People cannot afford to live.
But literally, this was last year. This has been happening since the
you
pandemic.
had a president
This
that
has been
ran for
happening since
office
the
saying
pandemic.
that all he had to do was to get in office and he would
And now
fix
you're
every
coming back.
problem
Okay,
in America.
so
and the reality is
now you're
that
coming
hasn't
back to,
happened.
now you're coming back to we want the magic wand.
You guys ran on having
The
a
magic wand.
You guys
Yep.
can't run nothing. Like, what are you talking about? You're
I
literally
thought that's
you're
what we
coming.
were talking
like
about.
literally, there's no
Pause.
magic
You've
wand.
been voted out by the majority. Please take your seat. Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
Hi, how's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
I just wanted to piggyback on something that was said before about like the average of gas prices. So I know about this pretty well. So I'm from Washington State, and we had something called the Climate Commitment Act done by our Democrat-run state, which actually raised our gas prices since last year. So when you talk about the average only going down that much, it has gone down in a lot of other places in the country, but it's actually gone up in several blue states. So that's probably why you're seeing the average not go down by as much. So a lot of blue states live in insulated bubbles where they're not even getting the effects of some of the benefits of Trump's policies like deregulation for energy.
Did blue states have gas taxes last year?
No, it was a new. Well, what we had is the CCA was introduced from 2022. The people tried to repeal it through an initiative. We gathered almost 2.4 million signatures,
That's
and
what I asked.
it was
I
declined
said,
by the.
Did blue states have gas taxes last year?
I can speak to my blue state. Yeah, we had. It was a new gas tax that we tried to repeal.
Blue states, as in California, Washington, other places, have had gas taxes for a long time, and they literally were in the national average last year, and they're in it this year. If you look at states like Texas, for example, that's a state that does not have this particular act that you're mentioning. Gas prices might be lower by 10 cents, 7 cents, 8 cents, something to that degree. The reality is that Trump promised nationally that he was going to bring the national average of gas less than $2 a gallon. That has not happened. But here's what he has delivered on.
I mean,
Here's
people
what
say a lot of things in the campaign.
here's what he has delivered on. Trillions of dollars, $3.4 trillion worth of tax cuts, $1 trillion of which flowed to the wealthiest 1% of Americans. He can keep promises to his rich donor friends, but he can't keep promises to people like you.
I'm more
and to
concerned
me,
with-
I think that's the reason
Sure.
why Republicans are struggling across this
I don't
country.
really care if the rich are getting richer as long as the middle class and lower class are also taken care of. I don't believe in this whole idea that it's a zero-sum game and that in order for the poor to do better, the rich have to do worse.
Is that what I said?
No, but that's kind of what you're implying because we weren't even talking
That's
about.
not what I said.
We're
What I-
not-
what I-
we're
what I
talking
said
about
was-
what affects people like me, right?
Well,
So
what
gas
affects-
prices affect people like
well,
me.
what affects people like you is that Trump has not delivered on his whole promise of just wiping a pen on a piece of paper and then lowering people's gas prices.
But
What he
you
has not
ran for
delivered,
office because
what he
you
has
know
not,
that's
what he
not
has
how it
not,
works, right?
what he has not delivered on is the fact that literally people have their energy bills that are going up left and right. Inflation is going up. Food prices are going
And
up.
in my
left and right.
Democrat-run
Grocery
state, they
prices are
voted
going
to
up
increase energy
everywhere
prices.
across this country.
Right.
The reality is that you guys ran on an
That's the
agenda.
reality.
If you want to LARP as poor people, gas prices are not the thing that poor people ever care about. They might say it because poor people love them, but it's rent, it's your car payment, and if you have kids, it's childcare. There's never in the history of all of working poor kind been like, oh, last month gas was $2.50 a gallon. Oh, it went up. It's $2.65 a gallon. My shit is. I can't afford to live. Oh my god, my life is fucked. It's just not. It's just the most obsession. Americans are obsessed with like low gas prices. But like, if anybody's had parents who are like this, my grandparents were like this. Americans are so retardedly obsessed with gas and gas prices. They'll be on some. I remember my grandparents used to do this all the time. It'll be like $1.95 gas at like the Amco, but if they go, like 5 minutes down the street or whatever, they can get like gas for $1.93. And it's like, I'm sorry, how many gallons are going in your station wagon? You're putting like what? I don't know, in a station wagon, like 15 gallons of gas. How much money? You're saving 30 cents. Was this worth the 5-minute drive? Really? Like, Americans have this obsession with gas prices. It's like the dumbest thing. But it's like, in the grand scheme of your finances, it's not the thing that's you is going to be rent, especially if it increases. It's going to be car payments or car up, and then stuff related to childcare, because daycare and shit, that shit is expensive.
You ran on an agenda of lowering people's prices, and you did not.
Okay.
You didn't do that.
Oh, but we didn't do that across the board. Okay.
No,
now,
you didn't.
Well,
That's what a
look
national average is.
Sure, I understand that, but you're completely ignoring the factors that come into play in those individual states. In my state, just like they voted to raise the gas tax for the gas you fill up in your car, they also voted to increase the gas for your natural gas that you use to heat your home. That affected small businesses. That affected immigrant small businesses more than anybody. You're not listening, actually. Because as soon as I tell you something that actually affects the average middle, it's irrelevant. Middle class is irrelevant.
I never said that.
Well, I'm trying to talk about what affects the middle class, and you're talking about billionaires.
Because here's what I said.
Okay.
What I said was that the national average is comprising of all 50 states.
Sure, I get what
different states have different policies. And the reality is that some of these states that you're mentioning literally had gas taxes last year as well. They were also included in the average that Trump was lambasting, saying that it was so high and that he was going to get into office and completely change that. He said that.
So the reality, Trump just can't come into a state.
Well, that was his promise. Okay. That's what he said.
Oh my God. He's saying
maybe he should have thought about promising something that he couldn't deliver on.
Okay, sure. Every politician should think about that. What politician has delivered on everything that they've done?
That's the point. So the point is,
you're harping on this one thing and avoiding the actual thing that states are being mismanaged by Democrat-run states, from the governor down to the Senate, to Congress and mayors. I just won an election up in Snohomish County in Washington. Shout out, Aaron. And we won, one of the only Republicans to win in our state. And we did that by communicating to the people and actually figuring out what they want and being an open book and not being this insulated, we know better than everybody and we're going to try to, manipulate your life into what we want it to be. That's not how it works.
What were some of the things that you guys promised?
What we promised? We promised to actually, we didn't make any promises to any sort of like donors or builders or anything like that.
What did you say that you would do in office?
That we would listen to the people and that we would,
what does that mean?
The biggest complaint about people was permitting. Permitting takes too long. And people were complaining about housing, that too much multifamily housing was being built. Well, guess what? If you make permitting so long and arduous, builders only want to build multifamily because it's going to take years for the permit to go through. They're not going to get their money back unless they make this building a multifamily thing.
All right. So if you were to be in office.
I'm sorry. This might be like advanced Pacific Northwest Republican dog whistling. Why would you not want more multifamily housing? Is it just because of like Hispanic people breed too much and have too many kids, or what? Why would you not want multifamily housing? You have to have all those single family homes clogging up all of your geography.
Uh-huh.
And you didn't deliver on that.
Sure.
What would you think?
I would want to be held responsible for that. And I criticize Trump for that. I'm not here a sycophant.
Should be held accountable if they don't deliver on what
100%. That's what we have elections for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the point is the whole reason why we're having this conversation is because you guys, the Republicans, have not delivered on what they said that they would deliver. Food prices are up. Energy bills are up. Everything is up.
Yeah, the energy bills and gas prices are up in my state because of Democrats.
Because the point is that
like, that's just facts.
We're talking about national averages.
This is rhetoric. This actually means so little.
So it means so little to that person that goes to the grocery store and realizes that they can't afford anything. It means so little to the person who's losing jobs left and right.
It means so little to the person who's seeing $2 gas in other parts of the country and they're paying $5.25 a gallon. That's who it means a lot to. Okay. It means a lot to the people that are single moms needing to like go take their kids to doctors.
What state are you referring to that's paying $2 and something a gallon?
Like Oklahoma, Tennessee. I said in Arizona, I paid $2.80.
In Arizona, okay, if you look at the state average for Arizona, it's about maybe 10%, maybe a little bit lower, but it's not, but we don't even know that.
Okay,
we don't even know
that it did lower, but just not as much as you wanted it to lower.
Because that's what you.
I don't get what your point is.
Because that was your promise.
I don't get what your point is.
That's what you.
Arizona's right now seems like slightly above the average. At $2.90 a gallon is the average today. Today's Arizona average is $3.09 a gallon, so a little bit higher. Lower than it was a year ago, though.
You promised. Okay. You promised that you were going to have these prices less than $2 a gallon nationally, and that did not happen.
I look a little different than Trump. I did not say those things.
Well, Trump still made these promises.
He did. Sure.
And he didn't deliver it.
Okay.
There we go. And that's the argument.
Low IQ talking point. I didn't say those things. I didn't say those things. Who the f*** are you, bro? Who the f*** are you? We're not here to debate your personal political ideology. You're here to defend your movement. Like,
only promises that seem to be kept are for those that are well connected in this country. Because it makes no sense to me that we got tax exemptions.
If someone else breaks your promise for you, is that still your fault?
What?
If you promise something to somebody and say there's a middleman, like, I don't know, a state government, and then that middleman completely takes away what you promised.
Then you don't make the promise. This is also annoying because this is also like we talk about a businessman or whatever, right? Trump is a deal maker, a businessman. Then make deals with your states, then do the thing, or be a business owner and take responsibility.
To somebody else, is that still your fault, or is that the fault of the person who actually has?
This is also annoying because if you have any. I will lean on my food service experience, okay? Yeah, I worked in a casino for 2 years, okay? So that makes me the man of the people, the working class, okay? Everybody that's worked in any type of supervisory team lead role, imagine if you say, hey, manager, my team can deliver on this product in 2 weeks, and then it doesn't happen. Your manager's like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, well, let me tell you, I got some tea. We're going to go to lunch. I'm going to serve up all this great tea about how worthless my employees are. You're just going to get fired. What do you mean? Why are you blaming your employees? Your job, motherfucker. You gave me the timeline. If you need to change it, then change it. Or fire people and get new people. Like, Trump can't make a promise knowing that there are other people that might impact that and then do nothing to work with those people and then say, well, I couldn't do it because those other people, got in my way. You made the promise, motherfucker.
has control in that area.
Why don't you explain to me what this Washington particular thing is?
It's the CCA, it's the Climate Commitment Act.
So what is that?
So it's essentially it's a carbon tax. And Jay Inslee, the last governor of the state, promised that it would only increase gas prices by pennies. That's what he literally said. He said pennies. We're talking about pennies. On average, it increased between 50 to 70 cents per gallon. I'm not listening.
Pause. You voted out. I'm sorry.
All right.
Isaiah.
What's up, brother?
Oh, Robinson.
Thank you.
Hey, man, I'm going to be honest. Everything you've said up here sounds really disingenuous and one-sided. Where were you when Joe Biden's inflation raised to 9%? Where were you?
Why did that happen? What the f? Joe Biden's inflation. He should just ask a million. I just want to hear this over and over again. You should make the whole conversation. What do you think were the big things that led to Joe Biden's inflation? Government spending. Oh, so why was the government spending there? Liberals wanted to spend money. Why? What was going on?
When Joe Biden's gas prices were $8 and $9? Where were you when the middle class was forced to stay inside and was forced to shut their businesses and the richer got richer and the poor got poorer? That was the real disparity.
Stay inside? Businesses closed down? Whose presidency was that again? When did that happen again?
There. And now you're sitting here complaining 9-10 months into a presidency about how he hasn't done what he's promised. Give the man a break. We just came out of the worst economy that's ever existed.
2.7.
Why is it low IQ to want to be understood from your own positions, not broad generalizations? Destiny, wouldn't it be annoying if some Democrat lawmaker was involved in some scandal and then a conservative claimed you're in the wrong for it? Not if I'm defending the lawmaker. If somebody wants to interrogate me about like Hunter Biden or whatever, am I going to say, well, I'm not Hunter Biden. He's not my kid. Like, what do you mean? No, I'm here to defend the Biden administration. So of course I'm going to speak to everything that's going on inside of it. What do you mean? What a stupid question.
7% was the inflation rate denied the presidential election. Is that the worst the economy that you've ever seen?
What do you mean 2 point? Say it again.
On the denied the presidential election, the inflation rate in this country was 2.7%.
So does that just take away the fact that it got to 9% in 2021 and 2022? What's your point?
First off, I'm not here to defend everything under Joe Biden.
No,
what I am here to say is that when inflation was high, that was a result of the pandemic, and he brought that down to 2.7%. So you
in the last year,
you inherited an economy.
So 3 years
was
absolutely
substantially lower, and as a result, you guys ran a whole campaign saying that you were going to reduce it lower than the 2.7%. That did not happen.
But it's happening. In fact,
is it? Is inflation going down?
Well, actually, what's crazy is the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, just said that we've taken in more money.
Is inflation going down?
Let me finish my comment. Has said that Jerome Powell said that the tariffs have brought in so much money that we're actually in a surplus. It will.
Inflation is going down? Does anybody think that their grocery prices are going down?
Actually, chicken did just go down. Why? Because Trump thought that they were.
And beef prices are near all-time highs. So we can play this game of one. That's why you gotta look at an average. That's how that works.
You ran for Congress, but you didn't speak out when Joe Biden destroyed this country, and now you're here 9 months into a presidency. Oh no! Come on, man.
Because
this all seems disingenuous.
2.7%. What are you talking about?
It seems totally disingenuous. Chicken went from $3.40 to $10, and you said nothing, and that's ridiculous. And now you're complaining that Donald Trump can't magically flip the switch.
He made the promise. Don't make promises you can't keep.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying is disingenuous. You haven't even waited a year yet.
He said that he was going to do this quickly. He said on day one he was going to start lowering
Democrats and Republicans. We realize things take time.
You made the promise. You said that it was going to happen.
This man is trying to kill me. We realize things take time. That was a good. He cooked. He cooked with that one.
Made the promise. Don't make promises you can't keep.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying is disingenuous. You haven't even waited a year yet.
He said that he was going to do this quickly. He said on day one he was going to start lowering
Democrats and Republicans. We realize things take time.
You made the promise and said that it was going to happen in less than a year.
Everybody makes promises, my man. Let's be.
Oh, okay.
No, you're not. Again, this is why I think you're disingenuous. You're laughing at me. Did you win your Congress?
Brother, we're talking about the fact that inflation.
No. I'm saying maybe you didn't win because you're disingenuous.
And now we have inflation that's going up.
Okay.
I don't think
so the gas prices nationally are beneath $3 a gallon, lower than they've been in years. And you're sitting here picking and choosing. Again, you're complaining that it's 5 cents lower. And going back to my man's point right here, Gavin Newsom also introduced a new tax this year that raised prices again. So when you have Democrats that are counterintuitive to the success of this nation, they're destroying it, not Republicans. In fact, every single judge that sued Donald Trump.
So why have we not seen similar increases or decreases, for example, in Texas? Texas hasn't seen.
Texas just got under $3, I think. People are talking about it right now.
It was less than $3 last year, the state average.
The state average was less than $3 last year. We'd love to see the Jubilee fact check on that.
And I will be correct.
Okay,
he's right. Rip.
I hope you're right. But the national average is below. It's 5 cents below what it was. We're in a good.
You said it was going to be less than $2. That's what Trump.
No, I didn't say it.
Well, that's what Trump said.
Okay, let's get there. But it's really counterintuitive when you have Newsom, the guy from Washington, adding taxes on top of the gas to keep it high. It's almost like they're doing it on purpose to make sure prices don't come down.
Oh, they're intentionally.
Oh, so you get it now. You get it.
Intentionally raising prices?
Absolutely.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Why is this hilarious?
What's hilarious to me is watch anybody think about intentionally raising prices when your central policy is tariffs. Nothing raises prices like tariffs. The argument was that Trump is raising people's prices. No, it's a fact. You can say it for whatever reason you want, but he's still raising prices.
Out for the middle class. You just changed your argument. He is looking out for the middle class. Hopefully tariffs bring jobs back here and brings back manufacturing.
Why is the unemployment rate going up? Why is manufacturing activity going down?
Well, let's see. The unemployment's going up because we had to fire a bunch of people that were sitting in government because Joe Biden made government jobs go astronomically out of control. And then he paid a ridiculous salary. So that's why you're like, oh, the wages went down. Actually, wage growth hasn't gone up in 50 years. The median salary in this country hasn't gone up in 50 years. In fact, if it did, minimum wage should have been well over $20 10 years ago.
Will you support raising the minimum wage?
No, I won't.
Now he's killing me. I'm not going to survive. Fuck, I'm not gonna make it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this video, guys.
Okay, pause.
Do you care about wage growth?
No, that's not what we're discussing. But hey, it was good. Okay, good luck.
My next surrounding claim is that Doge was a complete and total failure. You're pretty quick, Philip.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor and pleasure.
Thank
you so much for having me. Yes.
Pat Bayers, this is your man. This is your man's out here, okay?
So the claim being that Doge was a complete and total failure, I have difficulty imagining that that's true because, and I am coming at this as an anti-statist. I'm a very strong proprietarian, believe in private property rights. But I will say I read all these stories and I expect they're at least somewhat accurate, that the U.S. State Department was...
Remember, when people say anti-statist and everything, the first question should always be, oh, you agree with open borders then, right?
running global programs all over the world for, all kinds of absurdities, like they were promoting transgenderism in places like Nigeria where the people clearly don't want it. The people of Nigeria are often very conservative. They don't agree with this stuff. They're promoting... Well, they were doing it through like education programs, primarily targeted at younger university students because they're trying to take hold of the youth.
The United States government was funding
the State Department, yes. Yeah, like gender ideology education programs. They were trying to teach... Yeah, they're trying to teach people in the third world stuff that came out of the Princeton faculty lounges, like they're...
Like, I'm sorry. Do you understand how you sound? Like, I wish that there has to be like a thing where you just make fun of these people until they leave society. Like, this is what you think the Biden administration was doing? This is where a chunk of our money was going towards? Really? Was transgender education in Nigerian colleges? Seriously? Like, but we're the party of the crazy people?
74 genders and things of that nature.
So there's a class that's funded by the United States State Department.
Oh, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in Nigeria. Yeah, these deeply conservative cultures that the Ivy League educated people that run the U.S. State Department, they want to convert it into an Ivy League faculty lounge. That's what they want to do. So, they spread all this cultural Marxist, propaganda all over the world. And they try to, the core goal of it, the end goal is to undermine the family. Is to undermine traditional family and traditional faith.
Me in every single debate I ever have. And then 30 seconds after making the space, I'm like, I have to push back, or my audience is going to say that me just repeating what the guy says in a monotone voice isn't good enough pushback.
That's their goal. So they want to do that in places that are very conservative and family-oriented, like Nigeria, and, Pakistan might be family-oriented in the wrong way.
Why do you think that, if this is true, why do you think that they would want to do that?
Well, because the end goal is to undermine the family and to undermine traditional faith, because if they make it so that the younger...
So the United States government was trying to undermine...
Absolutely. Oh, the United States government, historically, I would say for at least, since at least the beginning of the Cold War, if not even, before...
In Nigeria, too, by the way. We don't want to just fuck up U.S. families. We want to fuck up families in Nigeria.
For that, they've been some of the chief promoters of cultural Marxism and policies and ideologies and philosophies that are designed to undermine traditional faith and traditional family throughout the world. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, the U.S. government overwhelmingly, especially for the past probably 3 generations of Americans, it's overwhelmingly been a force for global evil. Really, it's an evil empire.
It's really interesting to me because the last time I checked, I think the Doge was created to cut spending in the United States.
Yes.
And what has happened, depending on who you ask, $7 billion. $2 billion, somewhere between there is that number.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Do you know what the total percentage of that is the United States budget?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if it's below 2%.
Like 0.1%?
Yeah, no. From a fiscal standpoint, it was certainly a failure. But what I'm saying is from a culture war standpoint, I think there were some successes.
When it comes to cutting spending for Americans in our country,
right,
it was a complete and total failure.
Close to a total failure, yeah, when it comes to actually cutting spending.
So that was the goal, right? So it was a failure then, right? Can we agree on that then?
I guess then we would agree.
On the fiscal level, yes, not necessarily on the culture.
I'm glad we could agree.
Or not necessarily on the broader philosophical.
Because what also happened as a result of this was spending. The Trump administration went and pushed even further wasteful spending. Like, for example, the $1 billion that they're about to spend or currently spending to rename the Department of War. I would say that's a pretty wasteful group of spending.
Yeah, I would say it probably is.
$1 billion to retrofit.
By the way, hand to God, gun to head, less than 1% of Republicans had any idea what USAID was before Doge decided to make it their... I guarantee you, no motherfucker had any... USAID? What the fuck is that? USAID? I don't know. What is that? Is that like international charity or something? I don't know. Nobody knew anything about USAID. And then all of a sudden it's like, USAID is the #1 funder of cultural Marxism, trans ideology, destroying the family unit across the entire world and wasting our money and spending it all on...
a plane from Qatar.
Yeah, I mean,
That's pretty wasteful, if you ask me.
Republicans are very wasteful spenders too. They certainly are. There's no
I
question.
think we agree.
We effectively, and you might even agree with this too, to a great extent, we have a uniparty in this country. The only real separation, I would say, between Republicans and Democrats is really on the culture war issues, and this is where Noam Chomsky was correct. He said that, we've reached a situation in America where the major parties have no choice but to run on culture war issues because economically, to a great degree, they're indistinguishable.
Well, what is true is that we see these mass increases to the deficit and then, for example, the national debt when Republicans take office, largely because they blow a donut hole in the deficit by giving tax cuts to the richest people in America. I think that that's something that just needs to stop.
Well, I mean, I'm anti-tax and anti-statist, so I don't think that anybody should pay taxes because I don't think that there should be taxes, and I don't think there should be a state that has to be funded by taxes.
Are you for open borders? Please ask him the open borders question. Please. This guy sounds crazy, and he might actually own it. Please ask the open borders question. Please, please, please.
Should be any taxes?
No, I think that society should be governed by voluntary private associations designed to protect private property
rights. Did you fly here to Los Angeles?
No, I'm from around here. You can believe it. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you drive here?
I got driven here.
You got driven here on what?
Yes,
on roads, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Why not just say you drove there, bro? Oh no, by your mom? I'm sorry.
Fully recognize that there's public amenities all around us, and that in some way
in
or
order
other.
for you to drive here, it takes what? It takes funding to keep the roads.
Well, yes, but I've been forced to pay taxes to fund the construction and maintenance of.
Ooh, I don't know if he's debated a bunch of crazies before. You have to be careful when you ask them these open-ended questions because depending on how crazy the person is, they'll be able to yap for hours about how, actually, I can tell you how we could fund the roads by having mutual private organizations that all recognize a benefit, and you would have voluntary association with these organizations. They'll have answers for you. They're not going to be stumped unless they're a normal retard. But this guy sounds like an advanced retard, so.
Of those roads.
The money has to come from somewhere.
Yes, it'll come. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Yes, it's an honor and pleasure.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi,
Good to see you.
So I know Gavin Newsom is the leader for the Democratic Party right now.
Is this AI?
That's who's going to be the nominee most likely, and everyone's super excited about him. But guess what? I live in California, where spending is out of control, and the fact that nobody wants to even look into fraud and everyone is burning down Teslas when Elon Musk was trying to help and he came in with good intentions is shocking to me. Gavin Newsom cannot find right now $24 billion that he spent on the homeless when actually they increased the homeless now by 20% because all they do is just keep building housing and hiring developers. These two developers now have been indicted because they've been spending all their money on Coachella tickets and Birkin bags, private jets, vacations, you name it.
Well, last time I checked, I'm not really here to debate the record on Gavin Newsom and what happens in California. I'm here to talk about Doge and what has happened in the federal government. And as a result of these policies, you've cut maybe 0.1% of the federal budget. Meanwhile, you've just gone and spent everything else. You now have, for example, like I said, $1 billion to rename the Department of War. You now have, for example, the fact that they're spending money, about $12 billion for farm subsidies because the tariffs were just that bad. So it's all a wash. So I don't really understand.
Well, nobody let him do his job.
How is it that you guys are actually cutting spending?
So he said that Elon said that it was somewhat successful, and the only reason he wouldn't do it again is because everyone burnt down his Teslas and tried to destroy his business that he started. $100 to $200 billion in zombie payments is what he said.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you get your $2,000 Doge check?
From the tariffs?
From Doge as a result of all the spending?
Or from the tariffs, actually, because I think Trump actually floated the idea of a second check as well from the tariffs, I think. Neither of those happened, but
which was supposed to happen. There was supposed to be a $2,000 Doge check. Did you get that?
The Doge dividend.
No, but they haven't said anything about
Have
that.
they introduced something for that?
Who said that they were supposed to do that? I know we're supposed to be getting.
We'd be getting a check in the mail.
But no, you guys went into this not letting him do what he came there to do.
So you control.
Why would anyone want fraud to be continued?
If
it's happened when I brought up California because it's happening in this government.
How many excuses?
What do you mean?
How many excuses?
The Senate,
and
the White House,
and the Supreme Court,
and you still couldn't.
And the Supreme Court.
How could anyone work like that? Honestly.
How could anybody work with all the branches of the government under their control?
You guys did not let the guy
having the House, the Senate, and the White House.
Who needs to let him do what? Excuse me, ma'am. What the f are you talking about?
Demonized him.
You control it all.
You demonized? Hey, here's a tip. Turn the TV off, retard, and do your job, you moron. Turn off the TV and get off Truth Social and X 24/7. You're addicted. You are addicted to social media. You are addicted. Put your phone down and go to work.
You control it all.
So what?
And you
so
still couldn't get it done with your people in
You guys were doxing him and calling this guy big balls and going crazy about every single thing with Doge. Doge was literally vilified. But we were allowed to be audited by the IRS when Biden hired 80,000 IRS agents, the random regular people.
Pay your taxes, motherfucker.
Your question.
I'm sorry, but if there's people doing fraud in the government, you don't want to know about it?
How does the bill become a law? Do you know?
Goes through Congress.
And so then what? It has to go through both chambers of Congress.
Okay.
It has to go to the president.
Yes, and then
who has a majority in the Senate?
We do.
Who has a majority in the House?
We do. But what does that have to do with Doge?
Who's in the White House? What party's in the White House?
The Republicans.
So it's almost like you can do anything you want.
Yep.
They managed to pass tax cuts for the richest people in America, but they didn't manage to go get the checks that they promised the American people.
When did they promise?
So it's almost like
they're not even done
I
yet.
haven't heard of that. I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about the Doge dividend or anything like that.
Didn't happen
But they're
whatsoever.
not even done yet. Honestly, the same way Trump got into office and everyone said, Price of eggs, price of eggs. Within 2 days in office when the bird flu was around for 3 years before and no one said boo.
Because here's what's so interesting about conservatives.
Yes.
Is that you run on all of these different things. And in the second you don't do them, you expect that people will not hold you accountable.
Yep.
Nobody's saying that. No,
and the reality,
where did I say that?
Is that you walked around and cut 0.1% of the federal budget. Then you spent over that with wasteful spending, like for example, the $500 billion that Kristi Noem is spending for a new private jet to retrofit another Qatari Air Force One. You can say
But can we agree on something? Why? But can we agree on something?
What?
Is it okay to vilify Doge and Elon and all this stuff? Why wouldn't you want to know? From the get-go, everyone went crazy about Doge and all that. Why wouldn't you want to know if there's fraud? I know if mine...
When you present yourself adversarially, you need to be prepared for people to receive you adversarially. Grow the up. That's life. You need to learn that as a lesson. That if you're going to present yourself, I'm going to go in and everything up, and they better be ready for it. Of course, those people are going to be adversarial to you. That's life. Any leader, any parent, any human being with a sense of social awareness, any person ever should know that. If you're not aware of that, sorry, you're not cut out for the job, okay? Go get your packages of pudding and go to the old folks' home and live the rest of your days out there away from people who are more competent for the position. Like, that's just part of leadership. That's part of it's not even leadership. It's part like a basic common sense thing.
Entire state, we don't know where the money's going. Our sidewalks are broken. There's potholes everywhere.
I'm sorry, what the does the federal government have to do with your sidewalks?
All the homeless are trashing the street, graffiti everywhere. I don't know where my
maybe she's talking about the Newsom. Maybe she's talking about California. I don't know.
Are going here. I live here. Well, then, and he's your model. He's going to be the running for president. That's your model, right? Not Kamala. I mean, look, that's your model.
I think
so. I don't understand why wouldn't you care?
Folks in California,
I do.
Ultimately,
I do, and I get nowhere with them.
I'm here to talk about Doge. And the reality
but why?
is that
did you want Doge to start? Did you want Doge to start?
I support government efficiency. Actually, I do. I think that
did you condemn the burning of the Teslas and all that?
Let's talk about this. I believe that government needs to be more efficient. I think that everybody Barack Obama was somebody that supported a lot of that.
Yeah.
But that's not what you did.
Why?
You added more bureaucracy across the board. You then meant to go and spend more money than you allegedly cut. You lied about the money that you were cutting before you got called out before NPR.
Administration, you guys. I wish you guys held the Biden.
You fired Elon Musk. You fired him.
I wish you held.
You literally told Elon to go home.
Inflation
you literally sent Elon to go home.
Elon had to go home because no one let the guy. He wanted to destroy his. Okay, you guys don't let anyone do anything. Literally.
You control that.
Oh, she almost said a real nasty big bad. You hear what she almost let slip there? This disgusting. Listen to what she almost finished there.
Go home because no one let the guy. He wanted to destroy his. Okay,
You try to destroy his business? Oh, wait, hold on. Are you saying there was a conflict of interest between him being a businessman and him having a role in the government? That's what she almost got out there, but they're shouting at each other. Almost like maybe that's not the best way to approach government, maybe?
You guys don't let anyone do anything. Literally.
You control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
But that's irrelevant. Oh, so we can go back to immigration then, because why don't you guys pass laws on immigration?
They tried.
They told us he was healthy.
You literally did not go and do what you promised. You didn't.
But we're not done yet.
You fired Elon. He's gone.
Done. Thank you so much. Thank you.
What's up, man? Scotty.
Right.
Nice to meet you.
Scotty.
Yeah, so
Scotty Pippen.
Yep, come on now. Honestly, I kind of want to start off like, why was Doge even in this? Honestly, when we all saw the prompts, I went, what the heck? Why nobody talks about Doge anymore, right? I think we both can agree, right, that I do think Trump shouldn't be spending those things on the Department of War, right? Shouldn't be spending all that money, right? But
Hunter Biden stories, 5 years. Special White House office headed by the wealthiest man on the planet that purchased the largest news-related social media feed in the world to advertise for Donald Trump, who gets a special role to audit the budget of the entire government. Why do we have to talk about that? Come on. He's gone like 6 months ago, bro. Seriously? Like, actually. Insert your own imagination.
But Democrats did the exact same thing. And when you look at Doge, the core of it was good. We're trying to get rid of government.
The core of it? The core of it was good? Oh my God. What a loser. Imagine, again, any Democrat with any type of messaging like this. Give me a break, dude.
Spending. That was the whole point, right? And so when you look at your prompt, can you say your prompt again one more time for me?
Doge was a complete and total failure.
Complete and total failure. Now, can I look at you and say Doge was a complete success? No, I can't, right? But your rhetoric when you say that prompt, right, is totally misguiding for us, right? What are we supposed to say to that, right? And now you did say, right?
What are we supposed to say to that? This is why I know conservatives debate now, right? Doge is complete. Man, what the fuck am I supposed to? That's every conservative's response ever.
Oh, I can't, right? But your rhetoric when you say that prompt, right, is totally misguiding for us, right? What are we supposed to say to that, right?
What are we supposed to say when you're talking about specific things that the Trump administration has done being complete total failures? I mean, yeah, obviously, fuck, Jesus Christ. Like, can we talk about the intention or something, though? Jesus Christ. Or his epic Facebook post?
And now you did say, right, it said, what was it, 0.1% that we were saved in? I don't exactly.
Like, you don't have to sit up here, you know? You're the one that walked up to the chair, bro. Like, if you don't think it's defensible, why the fuck did you walk up here to defend it?
I don't know the numbers that they had said or anything, but we're supposed to cut government spending, right? Did any government funding get cut? You said it. Did any government funding get cut?
No, because you then spent more than what you cut.
0.1%.
Didn't even. I'm going to cut $2 trillion. What did that end up being? Best I can do is, I don't even know if the 9 billion got, I don't even know if I even believe that. Like,
You cut 0.1%, then you went and bought private jets, you retrofitted another Air Force One, you renamed the Department of War. So it's almost like that's a wash. And I remind you, the national debt is set to increase this year by $2.3 trillion.
Okay.
So
okay, but where does that money?
And so by the way,
$1 trillion, you say like $500 million debt, that's like paper money right there.
So that's what I'm saying.
Oh, $500 million is paper money? $500 million is paper money? What do you think about the Somali fraud? You think that was bullshit then? Because the Feed Your Future, whatever the that was only like 104 million or whatever. So 500 million is paper money. Paper money. Oh, okay.
So the peanuts on the budget that you cut is literally already been absorbed by other things. If you made $50,000, this would be the equivalent of celebrating a $50 situation. I mean, so look, let's talk about what's happening in this country.
He's like, you wouldn't be happy finding a $50 bill on the ground? I just went back.
So you just made absolutely. Yeah. So the point is the whole reason why we're having
to pay taxes to fund the construction.
But he didn't even
go
do
in
that.
there trying to cut government.
You cut 0.1%, then you went and bought private jets, you retrofitted another Air Force One, you renamed the Department of War. So it's almost like that's a wash. And I remind you, the national debt is set to increase this year by $2.3 trillion.
Okay.
So
where does that money?
And so by the way,
$1 trillion, you say like $500 million debt, that's like paper money right there.
So that's what I'm saying. So the peanuts on the budget that you cut is literally already been absorbed by other things. If you made $50,000, this would be the equivalent of celebrating a $50 situation. I mean, so look, let's talk about what's happening in this country. Is that you guys ran on cutting $2 trillion. Then it turned to $200 billion. That's nowhere close to being reality. So that whole situation was a failure. If we're talking about Doge as itself, it didn't happen.
It did happen, right? We had Elon. What do you mean it didn't happen? It did happen, right?
Deliver on what you promised.
Exactly. No, I can agree with you, right? Did we cut $2 trillion? No, we.
Okay, we might not have got $2 trillion. Best I can do is a few billion. Even if we were to grant $20 billion, that would be 1% of what was promised. Even if we were to grant $20 billion, that would be 1% of what was promised.
He did.
You cut $200 billion.
Trump tried, right? He ran.
He
saw
failed.
how bad Biden was at the government spending, right? And he ran there, right?
He tried and he failed.
I don't think it's necessarily a failure, right? When you try, like, does Trump have to be perfect?
Oh my God, bro! Republicans become the most like postmodern, like. Oh. Wait. Oh, I almost hit the power button on my computer. Republicans become postmodernist when it comes time to analyze like anything that's happened with the Trump admin. Like, didn't you fail? Well, hold on. What do we mean when we say failure? Is it really technically a failure to like, even if there should be like a rocket with Trump's face on it and the shirt should just say, aim for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Like,
I can agree with you, right? Did we cut $2 trillion?
No,
we didn't.
You cut $200 billion.
Trump tried, right? He ran.
He
saw
failed.
how bad Biden was at the government spending, right? And he ran there, right?
If he was so bad at the government spending, wouldn't that be the opposite though? If Biden was so bad at the government spending, shouldn't Trump have been able to do way better? It sounds like maybe Biden was a lot better at government spending than you guys thought, no? Because you couldn't find any of those big cuts you promised?
He failed.
I don't think it's necessarily a failure, right? When you like, does Trump have to be perfect in everything that he does?
He didn't even get.
Does he have to be perfect? Sir, yesterday you went to the club with the intention of bringing home a baddie with you, and instead you ended up getting wasted and you roofied 4 people, and they were all 12 years old in the parking lot across the street. Okay, I got laid, didn't I? Like what? So it's not, so I didn't exactly accomplish my mission? Like, oh, what? Nobody's ever looked at the wrong person before?
No, he doesn't have to be actually perfect, right? But it's
He doesn't be perfect. Oh my God. This is like the biggest partition. You know what? There should be when they tear down the East Ballroom or the West Ballroom, whatever the ballroom they make, they should take all the extra material. They should make the biggest participation trophies ever. And that should be our Washington Monument. It should be a giant participation trophy to MAGA. That's what it should be. You tried. Number 1 triers. You guys tried.
The whole point of
he didn't even
going
do
there
that.
trying to cut government spending from the start.
Oh, that was the point, was to try and do it. Oh, you have to try to do it.
Increase. The government spending more money than they did last year. That's according to the Treasury.
Well, okay, break that down then. Okay, no, but break that down, right? In terms of
break that
why
down.
though? But why is the government spending going up?
I mean, I'm just telling you, because if the whole idea was to go cut spending in the United States federal budget, that did not happen. You didn't.
Is that true? I thought our discretionary spending was down a bit. Oh, wait, is that true? Or am I just thinking the deficit? I think the deficit is down a slight amount. Not the debt, but U.S. budget. What would it be? U.S. spending? Federal government? Fred.
It happened. You're spending more.
I mean, I don't know what you want me
to try. I don't know what you want me to say, bro. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
To like say the right.
I want you to just say. I just want you to say
from the beginning. It's just dumb.
And that can be.
Oh no. the highest quarter of government spending was 2020. Well, that was Biden, right? Biden was all of 2020, right? Because it's a 2020 election. So it was Biden's all of 2020. We give that to him. And then, oh no, why is it going up? And up and up and up and up and up and up. Wait, where was the Doge cuts? Where was the Doge part in this? What was Doge? Maybe it'll show up in next year's spending. Maybe. You think? Maybe?
That can be your argument all you want.
And all of us, none of us.
That can be your argument all you want.
Use the participation trophy meme. Use it.
Change the fact that Doge was a complete and total failure. And you're here to make me, and the reality is that it failed.
Right? We wanted to cut spending, right?
Wait a second.
Wanted to.
Wait a second.
Participation trophy. He's breaking. Oh, he just realized. He's like, oh, hold on. I got one. I could get this one. He just realized it. I see his brain because I'm mind melded with everybody. And I see his brain. He just thought, he's like, excuse, hold on.
Reality is that it failed.
Right?
Hold on.
We wanted to cut spending, right?
Wait a second.
Wait.
You tried to do it. So I guess you want a participation trophy, don't you?
Okay, so
I'm mind melded. I'm in there. I'm mind melded.
Did Biden cut?
You want a participation
Biden cut
trophy?
Government spending.
You want
Obama cut government spending.
You want
Did Bush cut government spending?
What was the deficit?
That's the problem. Republicans want less government control. That's the whole difference between you. Democrats want bigger government control.
In 2016, can you tell me around? You don't got to be perfect. What the deficit was in this country? Can you tell me what that number was?
Was it below $1 trillion? I thought when we first got our $1 trillion deficit, I thought it was a really big deal. I'm gonna guess it was sub $1 trillion. I'm gonna say, damn, but it's grown a lot too. 2016. I'm gonna guess 650 billies.
Like the national debt?
Yes, the deficit. No, the deficit.
Oh God, does he not know the difference?
The budget deficit in this country.
No, actually, no. Tell me.
It was
I don't think he knows the difference between those two things.
Around the $500 billion range. 400.
Okay, we take it.
16. Yes, 2016. Okay. That number is now 2.3
trillion.
1.8 trillion. Yeah, because you guys went and signed in 2017 the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which ballooned the deficit. It continued. It was a long piece of legislation. It continued throughout Biden's presidency.
Okay,
that same thing. You just went and approved, literally to extend those same tax cuts to now add $3.4 trillion to national debt. My whole point about why I'm talking about this is because Doge did not go and do the things that it promised. It said that it was going to cut spending. It didn't happen. I think that you conservatives should just own up to the fact that it was.
Say.
You've been voted out.
See ya. Later. Just like Elon. See you later.
Hi.
What's up?
Jessica.
Good to see you.
Okay, so I think Doge didn't do as much as we wanted it to do, and I think
didn't do as much as we wanted it to do.
Part of it had to do with the fact that Elon Musk had to be out of the office in 120 days in the administration because he wasn't a government employee. I think part of that also has to do with the fact that Biden increased to almost 1.9, but $2 trillion international debt, and he was the one who printed 40% of the dollar circulating in America right now in 2022, which created.
Biden did that? Damn. He must have he was sucking off Jerome, I guess. I need you to pull through for me on this one.
More inflation, which created more spending in our government. We're spending and paying for people to have transgender balls in places like Europe, and
transgender balls are way more expensive also than normal balls.
Where is that happening?
Well, it's not happening anymore because we cut USAID. Well, it was happening. Where? I can't remember the exact country, but I know that.
You don't know the country, but you said it's happening?
It happened.
It happened?
It did happen. Yeah.
Where? I don't think
I'm sure when you rewatch it, you can.
That didn't happen.
It did happen. It did happen. No. Yeah, we had funding for things that are outside of the country for transgender balls, transgender plays, transgender balls. Yes, they exist.
Okay.
As well as condoms for places like in the Middle East.
Do you know why that is?
Why we paid for condoms for other countries?
Yeah. Do you know why that is?
Go ahead and tell me.
To prevent the spread of AIDS.
Well, maybe they should. To prevent the spread of AIDS.
Don't you think that if we can prevent the spread of AIDS, that helps the world?
I think that we should probably.
In this country?
Christian, also, you should ask these people again. Just, you know what? Fuck, please remind me of this. When I do my, is it USC, South Carolina? I don't know what the abbreviation is. I have to do this. When conservatives say some absolutely vile, inhuman shit like this, I think you should just ask them in between. You just poke them over and over. You're Christian, right? You say you're Christian? Okay, just making sure. Okay, and then just always bring that up whenever you're on some like this, like, yeah, we got rid of all this aid that we were wasting in Africa for how many lives? We're saying, okay, you are Christian, right? Okay, just making sure, yeah, right. We need to get rid of all these illegals. I'm like, oh yeah, and it's pretty cruel the way things are. You are Christian, right? When they were sleeping on the floors or whatever, and the kids are screaming, and they're you're Christian, right? I used to just always hit on that point over and over and over again. It's vile humans.
I think that financially,
I would say that something that can spread across borders, something like AIDS, keeping that down is a really
well. It doesn't spread across borders if we keep the people who aren't supposed to be here.
Oh. Okay. It doesn't spread as long as we keep the people. Do we have to enforce all of their borders too? Everybody else's borders?
Out of our
country. Get on planes and travel. So someone doesn't go visit. So an American citizen doesn't go to a place that in the Middle East, like you're describing, and then come back to America. That doesn't happen. So preventing the spread of those of AIDS in their countries can help us prevent the spread in our country.
Why don't we not pay for other countries' healthcare and we pay for our healthcare, considering our healthcare?
Oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Hold on. I'm edging. I'm psychologically edging. He's gonna say, because he's got to do it like he just did with the minimum wage guy. Oh, so you in favor of? You'll probably say single payer. Okay, whatever. Are you in favor of universal healthcare then? You're in favor of expanding our healthcare coverage?
Because of Obamacare, just this year is about to spike because it got pushed off artificially by the Biden administration. He artificially pushed off a lot of things.
I'm sure we could talk about healthcare till we're blue in the face, right? But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that Doge.
You think we should prioritize paying for condoms in other countries?
Approve more dollars to national debt than any other president in the history of this country. Congratulations.
True.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's what Donald Trump did. That's what the Republicans who voted for did. The reality.
I'm not Donald Trump.
You know how much it increased under Biden? $900 billion.
Doge was
$900 billion.
If Doge was to exist to go and cut spending for the American people, that did not happen. And might I remind you, if you want to go talk about the amount of debt approved by each president, Donald Trump approved during his whole term $8.4 trillion. If you want to talk about what he approved in terms of without COVID-related spending, that's about $4.8 trillion within his first term. Joe Biden approved $4 trillion total, $2.4 trillion of which happened of non-COVID-related spending. The result of it doesn't matter what you're talking about because Joe Biden approved half the amount of debt than your savior Donald Trump did.
True.
I don't consider him my savior. Jesus Christ is my savior. Let's make that clear.
I hate that virtue signaling bullshit. You are the Pharisee, right? You're the person that walks up and brags. You're like, whenever somebody brings up some shit like that, you're like, oh, which part, on which of the Gospels or whatever is Jesus talking about how good it is to brag about worshiping him in public? What part of the Gospel is that where he brags, where the person goes up and they brag about worshiping God and everybody like applauds them and claps for them? Which story was that? Which parable was that? Where the lady walks up and she says openly, I praise God, or everybody like me. Loser.
Donald Trump, I don't think Donald Trump is a Republican personally. I think he's a Democrat. And
now he's a Democrat. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he always has been.
It's news for me.
Really? Maybe
he just ran for president as a Republican, 3 times? He's
to win. To win.
So he's not a Republican, but he ran.
So you elected him.
And as a Republican?
What has he spent his whole life doing?
He's literally, so people can't change?
People can't change.
So you're now saying that Donald Trump is not a Republican. That's news to me.
Yeah, I don't
that would be
think he
news
is a Republican.
for the majority of Americans that are watching him literally just run for president as a Republican 3 times.
You can register as a Republican because you can win as a Republican. He's openly said, I would register as an independent, but I'm not an independent and I won't win as one. Or do you think that they're just trying to win?
It's alarming to me that we're now in 2025 and your argument is about whether or not Trump is a real Republican.
That's not my argument.
You're trying to deflect from the fact that Trump
I'm not
didn't do what he
deflecting.
said he was going to do with Doge. If you promise to go cut $2 trillion worth of spending and that does not happen, that's something that you have to be held accountable for. When you run on an idea of cutting $200 billion worth, that's something that you have to answer for. And for the millions of people in this country that actually thought that you guys were going to deliver them Doge checks, they're going to be waiting for it because you're not going to actually do it.
I don't think a lot of people expected that because, Trump isn't Biden who was handing out $2,000 to people for sitting at home.
Who approved that again? Who were those checks from again? Who approved the PPP again? To maintain employees that weren't necessarily having to work? Who was that again?
Never happened.
Or, saying you don't have to, I got a check.
Oh, you're talking about this.
From Trump?
You're talking about the
stimulus check?
That Trump also gave?
I don't agree with stimulus checks. So what are you
Why? That was a Trump check.
talking about?
What are you talking? Because Doge made these promises about a Doge check. What are you
Doge made the promises about a Doge check?
Yes, Elon made these promises.
Okay, well, Elon's not my president. Elon's not my president.
Donald Trump also said that he would support that as well. What are you
If it was available. He said he would support it.
Oh, if it was available? That's what it is now?
Yes.
What's so funny about this whole thing?
It's a joke. It's a joke.
That you guys can never take personal responsibility
for anything.
You
can't do it.
I'm really sorry.
Says the people who want trans balls.
But I can't hear that from the side of the aisle that is pro-choice, who can't even take accountability.
You'll do anything. You'll do anything to distract from Doge. You'll do anything to distract. Because that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
You've tried to move the conversation a million different places, but the facts is that you cannot answer for the fact that you didn't go cut the spending that you're talking about. And the government of the United States is spending more money than it did last year. That's a fact that you can't run out of. So I
guess I wouldn't know the exact number. Why don't you enlighten me?
It's higher.
What's the exact number?
It's higher.
The national debt's going up by $2.3 trillion, deficit 1.8. You don't even know.
But that was already projected to do so even before Trump was in office. Economists said,
I'm gonna die. Fine. Why would the projection be the exact same thing if it didn't matter who the even elected as president? Whew. I'm not gonna survive today's stream, bros. I don't know if I can make it 35 more minutes. Pisco videos into this.
That we were going to go into recession and we were going too high in our spending. It was already happening.
So
and
you
things
ran
that are
a
happening
on cutting spending?
I didn't run any campaign. And things that are happening right now, inflation takes 12
We're talking about Doge and spending.
I'm
what are you talking about?
Oh my God, you should have let her finish that. No, you shouldn't. Was she gonna say inflation takes 12 to whatever months or years?
You're the one who brought in the amount of spending we're doing this year. And honestly,
because that's what the argument that we're talking about is. You can't deflect from this.
I'm not
You're spending
deflecting.
more
I'm
money
showing
than
you.
what you.
Everything that's happening now in our economy is because of the pushback.
We're talking about Doge. Stay focused.
Oh, she ran the clock down. She got it. Good job. You survived. Rocky moment.
My final surrounding claim is that Trump is terrible for the economy. What's up, brother?
So I want to speak about all of your claims at once, since I think they all tie into each other.
We're talking about
no.
You think Trump is horrible for the economy. You think Trump is doing more for the wealthy than for rich people. You think Doge was a failure. You think Trump's immigration plan is horrible.
We're talking about the economy.
Right.
Let's make sure that we...
Let's. All right. So we can speak about the economy. But we've only been talking about the economy so far. You think that regular people care about gas prices, about grocery prices, about energy bills. I think regular people care about not being burnt alive on a subway, like Bethany McKee. I think they care about not being burnt.
What is Trump going to do for crime in cities on the subway?
Stabbed in the neck, like Irina Zaritska. I think they don't want people like Daniel Penny to be made into political prisoners for defending innocent people from criminals.
How is Trump going to help the New York subway system? What's the...
Criminals who've sometimes been let out 72 times by Democrats.
Then why is it that in those places where that's happening, they're still electing Democrats and they're not electing Donald Trump?
So we can talk about the economy, but don't you think that crime is far more important? And Trump is doing far better on crime than Joe Biden ever did, than any Democrat ever did?
Okay, I'm going to step in here.
Right.
Every instance of crime should be prosecuted. I believe that Democrats support that, but that's not the subject. We can have a whole long conversation about crime. What I'm here to talk about is the fact that our economy is not moving in the right direction. We see that every single day.
Why'd you say that?
We say that inflation is going up, energy bills are going up left and right. It's certainly not a good thing. Look at what's happening to the farmers, for example. We now have to go pay $12 billion to effectively subsidize them because the tariffs were not good for us.
Oh, and because we got wrecked by China on that soybean.
Well,
I'm
going to still go back to what I was saying.
Brother, we're talking about the economy.
We've spoken enough about
What about people getting... You think it's good for the economy when somebody gets stabbed on the bus? That person can't work anymore.
We're not
spoken for the past 45 minutes about the economy.
Well, that's the debate that we're having. You're trying to change the subject. I don't know if you're unprepared about the prompts that's in front of us, but what we're talking about...
Why'd you come up?
You seem to not want to talk about the economy.
Let's talk about all the prompts
You seem to not want to talk about the economy.
Why don't we speak about all the prompts together?
Whew, thank God. Thank you, guys. Thanks for bailing me out of that one, guys.
I bet you run a mean 100.
I don't. All right, so it's nice to...
Faster than Trump, probably.
Maybe. He's a little old.
A little.
So you keep citing this figure of 2.7% inflation on the night of the election. You've also repeatedly said that inflation is up. It's actually, as of a couple of days ago, averaging at 2.7%. So you've kind of defeated yourself there.
That's not true.
That's true. That was published 2 days ago by the White House.
Core inflation in this country is about 3.1%. And besides,
Average
they've refused...
inflation is currently 2.7%.
And by the way, they've refused to release inflation reports for a very long time. So I don't know what you're talking about with that. But
Sand fact check. People will see. But,
yes, they will.
But average spending for ordinary Americans, prices are actually going down for staple goods. Bread, down. Pasta, down. Shrimp, down. Again, statistics came out like 2 days ago.
My working class Americans. My shrimp eaters.
I don't know, for staple goods. Bread, down. Pasta, down. Shrimp, down. Again, statistics came out like 2 days ago. I don't know about beef.
Beef is...
Chicken's down.
Who cares about beef? I'm talking about shrimp, my brother. The internet or the oceans. They're not spiders. Wait, are they insects? Crustaceans? Whatever they are. Seafood.
Eggs are down. I don't know about beef.
So what's happening across the board? That's why you got to look at things as an average. Inflation is up. Core inflation.
No, it's not. It's down. It's at minimum. It's the same as it was.
It's about 3.1%.
No, that's just...
And the reality is, it's also... Here's what's also happening in this country. When you have to go give $12 billion as farm bailouts as a result of policies that are hurting our farmers across this country, those bailouts that are being used...
To begin with, you're a Democrat. You don't not support farmer subsidies. I'd be surprised if that were the case.
Well, that's
but
not...
Farmers also need subsidies because they just lost a huge amount of an illegal slave class that was making their labor extremely cheap. They need to be able to subsidize that cost to make that payment possible.
Excuse me. Sounds like farming isn't a competitive industry then. So you're saying that they should get a massive... Why minimum wage for massive corporate farming businesses, but not for people that work at fast food restaurants? What?
You realize what's happening as a result of...
What do farmers import? They're growing things here.
Hold on, wait a second. What's happening right now is that the inputs that are used by all of these farmers to grow their crops across this country are costing more money as a result of the tariffs that have been put in place. That does what to their production costs? It makes things go up, right?
I don't know what gets tariffs on farmers. I'm sorry.
Potash is something that was consistently tariffed.
We can probably start making that here.
I mean, we could...
Oh, I could just make everything. Didn't you just say the lack of the slave labor class made costs go up? Why do you think we could make any of this other
The majority of our potash comes from places like Canada. What are you talking about?
We can start making it here.
But that's not the argument that we're having.
Do you want manufacturing to go up by producing that?
That's not the argument that we're having. The argument
is an economic argument.
The argument is that what you guys did by putting these tariffs in place made things more expensive. And now we have to go put a Band-Aid on these things by going up and putting $12 billion worth of farm subsidies directly as a result as a bailout because of the policies that you guys enacted.
You don't oppose bailouts. I'm confused why you're bringing this up.
Because the whole reason why we're having to do an emergency farm subsidy act effectively is because of the fact that you guys artificially raise the cost of everything that farmers have to do. They're struggling right now. There are more bankruptcies.
I think they would need that money.
Wait a second. Hold on, wait a second. I just want to make sure that you understand this point very clearly. That we had more bankruptcies in the first quarter of this year for farmers than all of last year.
The Small Business Index actually reports that small businesses are highly optimistic right now.
We're talking about the amount of bankruptcies that were happening in this country as a result of the first quarter of this year. We're more than all of last year. That's a fact. If you go and you ask these farmers whether or not they would want this emergency bill, they would tell you no. They would say just release the tariffs that are destroying their businesses.
Well, farmers also want really cheap labor, and I don't, because I believe in what's best for the country and not what's best for big businesses and huge business farms that do that.
Do you want to go work on a farm? What do you mean by that? It's if the illegal people or ordinary immigrants, if you made it more legal, if they want to do the jobs, if farmers want to hire them, if it makes our food cheaper, this sounds like a win-win-win-win. Like, where is the loss here? Can you show me where is the L? Where is the L here? Like, what?
Well, farmers also want really cheap labor, and I don't, because I believe in what's best for the country and not what's best for big businesses and huge business farms that do that.
The unemployment rate for American citizens is going up.
So?
Takes time. We just fired a ton of people.
So now it takes time.
It does.
So,
we're in year 1.
So the point is that the policies that you guys are pushing are not delivering the results. You guys are making things.
We're getting a lot of money from tariffs, actually.
From a new tax. We got to get a VAT, guys. We got to get a VAT. When we get rid of tariffs, we got to get a VAT. It would just be so good. God, I love those broad base, easy to levy, easy to collect, easy to raise and lower across the board, and big revenue generators. I love those taxes. Your income taxes, your capital gains taxes, your sales taxes. These are just the best. These are the best. These are the best taxes. And since these all got mind on a tariff and I think it's good, when we get rid of the tariff, just put a small itty bitty 1% VAT, just a little itty bitty 1% VAT, okay? And then just what's in place, then we can move it from there in the future if we need to.
What's your argument for that?
We're making a lot of money off of it.
What's happening to the deficit? What's happening to the deficit?
Probably going up because, again, I want ICE to have funding.
So the deficit, but the amount of funding that ICE has received as an increase is not less than the amount of tariffs that you brought. And by the way,
what's the VAT? Just think of it as a national sales tax, basically.
Who pays the tariff?
Importer.
It's all of us. The importer is the one that pays, and then they pass that price on directly to the consumer.
They can, yeah.
So you're bragging.
Importers buy these things
so is the
and they sell it to us. I don't think things should be easy.
So is the thing in front of us, right?
So is the thing. People want to get jobs around here.
So is the question in front of us about whether or not you support American people basically paying for the largest tax increase in recent American history?
We're supporting big businesses by doing this.
What?
Tariffs hurt big businesses.
Tariffs hurt small.
They'll eat the cost. I promise. I promise.
Small farmers as well. That's why we had more bankruptcies for small farmers.
We're getting money from
tariffs,
which
than everywhere else.
Those farmers through their subsidies.
Well, not if they're.
What's the point then? We're tariffing people just so we can give the money back to the importer that pays the tariff. What the f is the point?
If they can't afford to keep their farms, because you guys literally have a situation in place where you're increasing bankruptcies left and right.
Farms aren't closing.
We literally had more bankruptcies in the first quarter of this year than all of last year.
Pause. We'll move on to the next debater. Thank you. Thank you.
See ya.
How's it going? Good to see you.
Hi, brother.
All right, so I guess on the economy point, do you want to talk about tariffs or do you want to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill? Because those were kind of the two big points.
Tariffs, whatever you want to talk about.
Sure. So I guess on tariffs, I mean, do you think that it is a good thing that other countries have tariffs on the United States and that those are allowed to go unchecked?
I think that when it comes to the American consumer, you guys raise people's prices by putting tariffs in place.
I mean, that wasn't the question I asked.
I think that's the result of the policies that you push.
Okay, so would you agree that it is a bad thing that other countries have tariffs on the United States?
They don't really. It's not. Like, and even if you did agree with that, if you wanted to find this point, then Trump should have negotiated to get rid of them, not gone full.
Depends.
I don't think, I guess I don't think it's a good thing for our businesses that they have to be charged to export their industry to other countries. I think that is a better thing for American businesses to boom if we get other countries, like we've seen in the UK and with EU trade agreements being negotiated out, so that we can...
Being negotiated? How long does that take?
Yeah, other countries take their tariffs off of us. And that was the original point of the
United Kingdom
tariffs.
take their tariffs off of us?
We had a new trade agreement that had them lower the tariffs on the United States.
Did they take them off?
They lowered them.
So let me ask you a question. What would be the purpose of enacting tariffs on a country like Canada?
On Canada, well, you want to protect certain industries, and Canada...
Do the 145% dairy one, and I'll come all over my desk on stream. 145% dairy, please, God, say it. Please, 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 please.
It also has a lot of tariffs on the United States, and to get them to have a trade agreement with the United States on that. I don't think it's...
Didn't we have free trade with Canada? What was the...
Oh, yes. I love this line of argument. Our trade agreement with Canada sucked? Ooh. What was the trade agreement with them again? Who negotiated that one? That's where he's going. I'm mind melded. I'm locked in. I'm Aaron Yeager, and we're talking to each other. I'm traveling through the past.
The United States-Mexico-Canada agreement.
Yeah, that wasn't in effect when Donald Trump took office.
What? That was Donald Trump's renegotiation of NAFTA.
I don't think it's a... No. I don't think...
What was the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement?
Yeah, that wasn't in...
Oh, actually, I know what this guy is. I know exactly what's going on. I'm mind melded with him, too. He's just thinking that's like a general thing. Oh, when the U.S., Mexico, and Canada had a trade agreement, yeah, that was already in place for Trump. No, he's talking about the I think it's USMCA, right? U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement. That was like the official Trump, that was the name of the Trump upgrade, quote unquote, to NAFTA.
In effect when Donald Trump took office.
Who negotiated the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement?
Look, I don't think it's not a good thing.
Who negotiated
It's not a good
thing. Do you know
thing
what it is?
It is not.
Do you know what it is?
He thinks he's asking him a trick question because he's like, well, I don't know which president did it. I don't know, Lyndon B. Johnson, George Washington. He thinks it's like a trick question, but it's not. It was Donald Trump. This is Donald's trade agreement, bro.
You don't know what it is, do you?
No.
Yes, I do.
What is it? Explain it.
Yeah.
He's going to say Clinton.
It was a trade agreement with the United States that overturned the previous NAFTA agreement.
And so what did it do?
Oh, wait. Wait, does he know then?
You don't know what it is, do you?
Yes, I do.
What is it? Explain it.
Yeah, it was a trade agreement with the United States that overturned the previous NAFTA agreement.
Which was made under Donald Trump. Wait, what? Wait, who did it then? Wait, what does he think Biden did that trade agreement?
It established that parameters.
So who negotiated it?
It was Donald Trump.
So Donald.
What? Why did you just say that it existed when Donald Trump came into office then? What the did he just not want to admit it? What is happening?
Trump negotiated the USMCA.
Yeah, we need to
free trade agreement that was governing over the United States.
It wasn't free trade. We need to renegotiate these trade agreements.
What is?
Why? They're his trade. We have to redo even the shit that he did before. This is like you invite some people onto your GitHub or whatever. And you're like, we need to redo all this shit, okay? Because the last guy all of this up, and it's like, sir, 96% of the commits look like they're yours. They're all signed by your account. Like I said, the last guy it up. We got to redo the whole thing, guys. Okay, let's go.
What does NAFTA stand for?
It was American Free Trade Agreement. That's what was before Donald Trump.
Like free trade.
Yeah, again, that was before. That wasn't effective when Donald Trump.
And so then yes, it was. And so, well, first of all, the USMCA was effectively the same thing as NAFTA.
No.
And so what changed?
It really was. Oh, I don't even know if I can answer what changed. It basically, like, I think the big changes were like some percentages went a little bit higher. So like I think for like cars, instead of 50% being finished in the United States, like 75% of the end stage manufacturing had to be finished in the United States. And there was like, I know cars was a thing with Mexico. There's like one or two other minor adjustments, but it really wasn't that huge of a deviation from NAFTA. When Trump talks about the USMCA, he talks about like this whole new trade. It wasn't really that much. Like a few things changed from NAFTA, but it wasn't a big deal.
I mean, the trade parameters changed, but like I said, I don't think it's a good thing.
Name one.
What do you mean?
What changed?
Cars, Mexico. It was a big one. That was a big one that people talk about.
Cars, lumber, the way that we trade lumber with Canada changed.
How?
I don't know the actual intricacies of the USMCA, but what I will say is I don't think it's a good thing.
So we have free trade with Canada.
I don't think it's a good thing.
So why did you go and put tariffs on a country that we had free trade with? What gets better than free?
Well, I guess with Canada, there's also the.
I mean, I didn't know that.
There's also the added part.
There's
also the added part with Canada that they were spraying propaganda into the United States, which isn't a good thing.
What? You want to talk about propaganda across borders? It was those Canadian truckers that put the stupid American flags on their truck when they wanted to protest COVID, and they tried to shut down BC or whatever because they all wanted to sit on the side of the road. Oh, just kidding. Video games.
That we have an ally spreading propaganda into the United States.
That has nothing to do with.
Yes, it is.
I'm just asking you.
Tariffs are
why did you put tariffs on a country that we had free trade with? It was free.
Yeah, because they're pumping propaganda into the United States.
So we're using tariffs to fight propaganda? Also, excuse me, propaganda from Canada? Well, true. Steven Crowder, Jordan Peterson, Lauren is our queen, okay, but also that, and who else? Who else came from Canada? Ted Cruz, Tom McDonald, Lauren Chen, actual propaganda, Russia-funded propaganda.
Pumping propaganda into the United States? How?
XQC.
What do you mean how?
How?
It's like during the World Series, Canada promote propaganda to the United States. Of course we're going to put tariffs on them for that.
During the World Series, wait, are you saying they bought like a commercial slot in the... There was some stupid commercial thing. But wasn't this after the tariffs? Or am I making this up? Was it the NFL or whatever? Wasn't this after the tariffs? Don't the timelines matter here? The Reagan one, yeah, I think, or whatever, yeah.
We should showed a commercial of Ronald Reagan in his own words. So that means that
have other countries.
So wait a second. So wait.
It triggers them so much to use their own words.
So wait a second. So you just made Americans pay more for everything that comes from Canada because they showed a commercial you didn't like?
What an unbelievably cucked. Oh my God, bro.
That sounds like being a snowflake, if you ask me.
We should be holding our allies accountable.
Why are conservatives so sensitive? This is what
holding our allies accountable. I'm sorry, my mind is just all analogies today because I hate these people. Like, you should start with the, like if a student fails, then they should be, okay, not a student. We'll just do physical violence. You should punch a student in the face until you break a tooth if they fail a test. And I was like, well, I don't think that's okay. Why? You think it's okay for them to fail tests? Well, no, but I just think the punishment is, so then we should do something, right? Are you going to let them fail tests? No, so we need to take an action. So why are you criticizing somebody for taking action? Well, I just think punching is a little bit overboard. So you think it's good for them to fail tests? No, I've never said that. I'm just saying that there are other ways to hold them accountable. Okay, well, he tried something, right? You're happy that he did something, right? And it seems like maybe maybe we're iffy on whether or not they're failing tests or not. And it's just like the stupidest. This is not reality. God, bro, get me out. How much longer? Oh, God, get me out of here.
Happens when you have conservative government. They're so sensitive. They're over here raising your prices because they had a commercial that you don't like.
Yep. Tariffs don't raise prices. There was just a study. What? Use Chicago that came out that tariffs actually don't raise the prices.
Why would you go put?
No. pretty sure I guess the recent working paper that I saw was that the costs are actually passed on to the consumer at a rate of like 97%. It's so much higher than what the estimates that economists would have given in the past. It's similar to the ones that Trump did in his first term or whatever, because I think the paper posits that potentially exporters, one, they maintain the same price and they just sell the goods to other markets, or two, they don't believe that the U.S. Tariffs are going to be lasting much longer. So they just maintain the same price, they ship a little bit less, and they'll just wait for shit to change.
Tariffs on a country we had free FREE trade with.
I think that we have a strategic advantage of having our lumber industry here in the United States. I don't want to be reliant upon Canada for lumber.
To go and achieve that.
What changed in 4 years that Donald Trump thought that we needed to go from bringing lumber in from Canada to having all of our trees here? Why? What changed?
Yeah, it makes it more expensive for imports to come to the United States so that businesses can relocate back to America.
So now, if your disagreement was tariffs on lumber, your answer now is for tariffs on everything.
Again, yeah, you want to establish leverage for future trade agreements. That's how trade agreements work. That's how negotiations work.
And the leverage.
Did he do that for the U.S. Mexico-Canada agreement? Did Donald Trump need mass tariffs across the entire planet for that? Did Donald Trump use tariffs to even? I know we did random tariffs on like China and some other bullshit. We might have tariff. I don't know if we did that as part of the. I don't remember.
Leverage is to go and charge for something you are getting largely for free.
Again, because you want to have a strategic advantage of making it in the United States, obviously.
Free, and you've heard American businesses that does stuff with Canada as a result of that. The amount of trade that we've had for American companies that do business with Canada has decreased as a result of these policies. And now what's also happening is that Canada is now going all around the world to go look for other partners. It's why, for example, they're meeting with India, why they're meeting with the European Union. And when they go find these new partners, they're not going to want to go buy as much from the United States. So you know what these policies did because you guys were offended about a commercial? You sent our trade partners all the way around the world, you raised our prices as a result, and you screwed over American businesses. And that's not something that's good for the American people.
Oof, that was a bad vote off. You gave him a whole soy rant that brought the whole argument home, and then you voted him off? Fuck, I don't have an appropriate soundbite for that, but this guy got owned.
You've been voted out. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. I like
Bonnie. Thank you. This is Donald Trump on it.
I didn't see that part.
Okay.
Oh, boy. I didn't see that part.
Okay. You know a tariff is a tax, right? And Democrats love to tax people.
You know that a tariff is a tax, right? Yeah. You know Democrats like to tax people, right? What were the biggest tariffs? We're talking about Trump's tariffs, the Republican, right? That you guys all adamantly supported? What the talk about a non sequitur.
So all of a sudden, the Democrat in the room doesn't want to tax anybody.
Well,
Donald Trump.
I just want to make sure I correct this. A corporate tax is a tax on profits. A tariff is a tax on raw goods. It's why, for example, your tariffs are making things more expensive.
Okay, when you buy
didn't know how that works.
Okay, you bought that watch.
Rolex? Is this a Rolex?
Whatever it is, the watch that you bought, there was a tax on that. It wasn't a corporate tax.
And Rolex,
this is tax.
And by the way, it's Apple Watch, but Apple had to pay corporate tax. Which, by the way, I want to raise that, by the way, for Apple, if you didn't know.
So you want to raise corporate taxes, yeah, but you don't want to raise tariffs. You don't want to talk about tariffs. But most of the tariffs, by the way, most of the tariffs are comparable tariffs. So whatever country is charging us,
we have free trade with Canada.
I don't know if that's true.
This is one of the things. This is why I hate this talking point, and it took me so long. I don't know if did he ever admit it to confront facts about the? Is this about the tariffs?
Did Donald Trump take classified information from the White House?
Shut up.
Special prosecutor was there to investigate the degree of some country evidence.
Loser.
No,
nice word fumble, dipshit.
The charges basically ready for him to show up to. Look, I think. We can just say it's bad. If it's true, it's bad.
What is Trump trying to do with the tariffs?
Holy shit, that mic is blown the fuck out. Was it a lie? I just want to hear that. Did he lie for the board?
And I will only take them off if you take off yours.
Then why does he keep changing that to countries like China? On policy? Times of national crises.
Shut up.
To, right? He added to the debt, which would eat up.
This was a brutal. This was brutal, dude. This has to be every single person. You should never let Republicans walk away from it. And it's such an obvious talking point. And you hear her, when everybody here is talking about reciprocal tariffs, like when that other guy was like, well, they tariffed us too. That's a lie. That whole talking point is a lie.
You hurt your trade relationship with every other country on the planet like we've done with the tariffs. You acknowledge, for instance, when Trump held up the tariff sign, that all those numbers were a lie, right?
That was a lie. Yes. The only way you can answer that is yes, that was a lie.
None of those tariffs were accurate for any other country, right? Can you at least acknowledge the simple basic fact that all the numbers on that chart were a lie? They used a math formula.
What is not a lie? What is not a lie?
Was that a lie, though?
What is not a lie? What is not a lie?
Though? When he held up the sign, didn't he lie to the American public, to you and me and everybody else in here in the entire world when he said, these are the tariffs that every other country has on us? That was a lie, right?
Well, it was a negotiating tactic.
So it was a lie to negotiate?
Negotiating tactic. Look.
But it was a lie then. We can at least say it was a lie to negotiate. It was a lie, right?
Trump
Who was he negotiating with? The Fox News ratings?
No.
His YouTube views? It was a lie.
Are you saying that if
I'm saying it was a lie? I'm saying his numbers were a lie.
I'm saying if I'm negotiating with you.
Yeah, and you lied to me. I wouldn't negotiate with you. Those numbers were a lie, right?
If I'm negotiating with you and an NPR reporter comes to me and asks me something and I say, this is going to be the result, I'm actually speaking to you, but if I were to tell the NPR, oh, guess what? Let me give you my actual negotiating position, okay? Because you can then put it on NPR and the Chinese will figure it out by tomorrow morning. I
think I would probably use the massive governmental apparatus I have to negotiate to do that because that seems like a more
No, because the massive governmental apparatus that we have has proven to be completely and utterly incompetent.
So then everything that comes from the Trump administration I should interpret as being potentially fallacious. It could all be a lie because he's trying to negotiate with other people.
I'm saying negotiation is a moving ball. I'm saying that Trump is very capable of putting on a tariff and saying, I'm going to put on this tariff on January 7th, and then he doesn't do it. Is he lying? No, he's not lying.
No, that's not what we're talking about. When he
to do it.
Well, he did do it, number one. The big chart was a lie. Why can't we just admit that? This is what I'm talking about at the very beginning of this conversation. Look at the reality. It was a lie.
I'm saying that these bombastic claims
were lies.
In the course of negotiation, it doesn't even matter because the real issue is what are you getting in the deal?
If I don't know if you saw me walk up on stage, but if I put in my Tinder profile that I'm 6'2", and I show up at my date with really good posture, does that count as just being bombastic, or would that be a lie?
Right, let me give you an example for why.
I have an example. How about when the president held up a board with a bunch of tariff numbers and they were all lies?
They were a lie. It was a lie.
Can we say that was a lie?
I'm saying that presidents, in the course of foreign policy and trade negotiations, every president lies to us all the time.
Give me an example of a single other example where a president has lied like that to the American public.
Okay, I would say that every deal that the United States has...
One example.
Okay, I'll give you 10 examples.
Just one. I see one.
Yeah, okay. So the United States, for example, lies about its dealings with terrorists. It lies...
And he brings up intelligence.
Reagan lied about...
Hold on. National security secrets with...
We're not talking about secrets. We're not talking about
crimes.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Just...
It's hard for me to talk about some of these debates. I like to talk about more principle type of stuff. But basically...
the lazy gardener. She just said, I don't want to get in the weeds.
Trump was trying to get comparable tariffs. So if a country was charging us 30% tariffs, we charge them.
So then she's talking about the board. The board was a lie. That was a lie. All of that was a lie.
So he went to a country we had no tariffs with and then added tariffs on them.
I'm not going to talk specifically about
because Canada, it doesn't make any sense.
But let me just say something else. The other thing about the tariffs, the part about tariffs was that he wanted to encourage companies to build and
manufacturing activity has declined.
Wait, so did he want to encourage domestic production in the United States? Or did he want other countries to lower their tariffs? Because what you just gave were two totally different answers.
Actually don't really need to trade with that many countries.
Manufacturing. We can just make everything here.
We have resources. We have farmland. And the reason why I think farmers are going out of business is because corporate people and dark money is buying up their property and forcing little farmers out. We have become a corporatized farming country. It's BlackRock for one. It's bad news. And that is preventing small farmers from...
I just want to make sure that... I am not for these big wealthy corporations. I'm not.
Yeah, you should. Don't eat this populist. I know those guys to the left of me, but don't let him go on the BlackRock point. Oh my God.
One of those folks, right? So I agree that there's a lot of that's going on that needs to stop. That's why it also doesn't really make much sense that you guys got rid of the Consumer Protection Bureau that was literally there to go and crack down on a lot of these things that was happening in this country. You got rid of that stuff. So I don't think
Protection Bureau was probably very corrupt.
That returned how much money in bill? Was it over 10 billion or was it over 100 billion to consumers? Consumer Financial Protection Bureau money returned to consumers. I thought this was a huge number. $21 billion.
Most of the government agencies,
which is why Doge... $6 billion directly back to the taxpayers in this country. That's something that...
Most of the government agencies, which is why Doge...
$6 billion directly back to the taxpayers in this country. That's something that's inherently corrupt. Here's the problem. You guys put these tariffs on place, and now you raise people's prices. People's businesses are suffering as a result of these things that you guys have done.
Are prices going up or are prices going down? Gas is going down, eggs are going down, chicken is going down, like I said, rice and pasta is going down. I don't know why you think...
I don't know.
Well, we need a little bit of inflation. Government wants like 2-3% inflation. That is...
Oh, now we want some inflation. Now they all know macroeconomics. And they do too. They also know, all the This is what I mean. All of a sudden, when they got to defend some Trump, now they're everything. Well, we can't lower inflation overnight. This takes time. Oh, we can't have a trade deal overnight. That takes time. We can't do this on day one. That takes time. Oh, crazy. You have that understanding now. You didn't seem to have any of that when you were running for office. And you certainly didn't seem to have any of that understanding when you were criticizing Biden.
Goal of government
is going up in this country, my friend, whether you like it or not. And it's why people don't feel...
How is that money returned to us? What does that even mean? If larger businesses were engaged in predatory or whatever practices that they said was bullshit, then they would return the money to you. They would force the companies to pay back. Like, I think the couple big ones were Wells Fargo. Like, people got hit with a lot of bullshit fees because they were opening up a lot of accounts. You would basically show me, like, can I withdraw some money? And the teller would be like, of course you can withdraw some money. Would you like to withdraw that out of your second checking account that you don't actually have yet, but I'm going to make it for you because you need all these goddamn accounts. I'm going to get you 12. I'm going to get you 20 Wells Fargo bank accounts. It's going to be awesome. In the first month, it will be no fees. But after that, we're going to get that ass.
Feel that great about the economy. It's why Republicans are losing everywhere across the country. And they tell you, and when you ask them why they're losing, it's because they say that they don't like the way that Donald Trump has raised their prices. And ultimately what's happening in this country is that your policies are making things more expensive for everybody in America.
Another reason why prices might be going up is because the value of the dollar is going down because they're printing so much. It's not that things are going up.
Who's
they?
Had
The value of the dollar is going down.
Pause. Thank you.
Okay.
So many good talking points. Oh wait, I think I saw this earlier today. Bro, Virginia, I think, just obliviated the Republicans with their redistricting. Did this pass already, or it proposes a 10-1 Democratic advantage? The vote's in April? Gotcha. It has to pass a referendum and court still. Okay. Oh, man. They're not happy about that one.
All right.
I chose Dennis for the final debate because he's running for the United States Congress, so let's see if he's prepared.
All right.
My surrounding claim is that Democrats hate America. Prove me wrong.
Prove you wrong?
Yeah.
That's a very subjective opinion.
No, it's very objective.
What is the point that you're trying to make?
It's unbelievably. I mean, we're in California right now. We're in Los Angeles. It's a state that's been run for over 60 years by a Democrat supermajority. We've had Democrat governors for a plurality of almost 60 years as well. The last 12, it was Jerry Brown Jr., and now we have Gavin Newsom for 2 terms. And the state, not only are we running a historic deficit, but we just spent, as somebody mentioned here earlier, $25 billion in 5 years to solve the homelessness crisis. And that money just evaporated. It went all to NGOs, Gavin.
If that Virginia redistricting goes, because Indiana was the one that abandoned theirs, right? Dude, if that Virginia redistricting, oh my God, this would be the first time in my lifetime that Republicans have paid the price for stupid politics games, that Texas will them hard. And that not just Texas, but the corrupt collusion between our DOJ, between, I don't remember if it was Bovine or if it was Bondi that sent that letter to Texas saying, just so you guys know, you guys better think about redistricting because I know those districts were done in a racist manner or whatever. And then the Texas Supreme Court and all of them sucked each other off over it, and they were so happy. And Abbott was like the guy in Scary Movie 1, the crippled dude sucking himself off in the chair with, oh, we got him then. And then Newsom came out with his California re-gerrymander. Virginia got their big one. I don't know if other states did it. I don't know if anybody else on the Republican side was able to do it too. Hell yeah. Get
Newsom's cronies, and there's no accountability. There's no interest in there being any sort of accountability. So much so that LA County itself has spent over $1 billion to fix homelessness. Our current comptroller, Kevin Mejia, tried to do an audit, and the mayor, Karen Bass, communist, Karen Bass, yes, she's a communist, look it up, trained by Fidel Castro.
What is this whole argument about?
The whole thing is that it's about centralized power. They're all communists, they're all Marxists. You're part of this.
Centralized power. I'm clapping for how ingenious this guy is. Centralized power. How dare you? What a disgusting and despicable and vile thing to say as a person who supports MAGA. Centralized power?
You're part of this infrastructure. Let me finish my point. Yes, that's exactly what I just stated.
So Joe Manchin is a communist?
Let me just finish my point.
John Fetterman is a Marxist?
Let me finish my point. Well, he's associating himself with that. Yes, your party's being eaten from within by the Democrat Socialists of America. That's how you get.
MAGA is eating itself from within, by the way.
Zoran Mamdani out of New York. That's part of their goal. They're saying it literally.
You just described a party that has diversity of thought. That's kind of how.
That's not diversity of thought. Absolutely not.
That's what happens when you're not. That's what happens when you're not in a brainless cult like MAGA, right?
I'm just going to tell you this.
So you've got for example, a party in the Democratic Party is one that has folks like Joe Manchin and Zoran Mamdani. It's people with a wide array of a political spectrum.
You're being extremely disingenuous right now.
I just want to know from you, what is it that you're trying to say about Democrats that hate America? You're saying that half of America hates this country.
Let me finish. Let me do my point. Okay, you brought up Joe Manchin and you brought up John Fetterman. 2 people that every time, John Fetterman specifically, he actually is a middle of the road guy. Every time, let me finish my point. Okay, every time he sides with common sense policy that is coming from the let me finish my point, dude. Every time.
This guy's talk like 90% of the time, by the way.
He sides with common sense policy. Let me finish my point, bro. You're gonna let me. You're gonna just keep. I'm not flustered.
He's flustered.
See it over your eyes.
I'm not. Oh, now he's trying to play back what I did a minute ago.
Remember that one?
Yes, I do remember that one.
Look how the tables have turned.
Oh my God, dude, you're being so petty. Just let me finish my point, okay?
Oh my God, he rattled him, bro. Also, not by a Not by one like him. Oh man. Is he gonna get him if he had 10 more minutes?
Okay. You brought up Joe Manchin and John Fetterman. Okay. Every time they side with common sense policy from Republicans, what happens? They get eaten alive by their own side. You watch Hassan Piker, you watch anybody on the left. They will eat them alive for siding with common sense. Things that people in Pennsylvania and their states want. Not the Democrat orthodoxy. Okay. Your party hates America. You look at Ilhan Omar. She got. I just want to make sure. Let me finish.
You're saying that our party hates
She's worth over
America
$60 million. Explain that to me right now.
Of the fact that there are people with a wide array of, and by the way, I just want to make sure
it is not.
I am not in the Joe
Manchin,
John Fetterman era.
You're gaslighting.
That's not where I stand personally. I am a Barack Obama style Democrat. But ultimately, of course, right? I think he was a really good president. But at the,
really,
but at
so
the end of the day,
you support the one president. Wait, no. I want to take that back. No, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Democrats hate America.
You think Barack Obama was the greatest president when he unilaterally called the most amount of drone strikes abroad and killed the most innocent civilians?
Donald Trump definitely did more drone strikes than Obama. 100%.
The history of the United States presidency.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
I don't agree with that, and that's exactly what I just said. Is that people?
But you just said he was the greatest president.
Excuse me.
No, diversity.
Greatest president means I like every single thing about him.
Your thought is killing innocent civilians.
I hate to break it.
How is that diversity of thought?
I hate to break it to you, but Donald Trump also had an increase of drone strikes more than what was happening.
And he obfuscated the reporting on it. He made it so that we stopped reporting on it the same way we were before, so we didn't even know how many technically did.
Under Barack Obama. So you might want to go check your numbers, because if that's the marking of whether or not someone is a good president, your guy literally went and had more drone strikes.
Guess what?
I bet you're still going to go to Mar-a-Lago and beg for his support, aren't you?
I didn't just sit.
The Bureau for Investigative Journalism was 2,243 drone strikes in Trump's first 2 years in office. The Bureau counted 1,878 in Obama's 8 years in office.
Aren't you say that Barack Obama is the greatest president in history?
But Donald Trump had more drone
knowing
strikes.
that he killed more civilians.
But Donald Trump had more drone strikes, but you still think he's a good president, right?
I didn't say that I approve of drone strikes. I'm calling.
So it's almost
neither did him.
Like if you disagree with something, you can still support the politician overall. That's kind of how that works.
I'm literally calling out drone strikes. Do you understand how your cognitive dissonance is working?
You're trying to say that because I support Barack Obama and I disagree with drone strikes, that all of a sudden that's some type of failure in my reasoning, while you literally support Donald Trump, who had more drone strikes, and you still support him. You literally came dressed like him today. You're wearing the pin, you're wearing the tie, you're wearing everything. You came just like him.
Hold on 1 second. Wait. I just want to make a point here. He has a problem with somebody wearing the American flag. Pure Democrat. You hate America. You just made my point for me. Thank you so much.
And I said that you're dressed like Donald Trump.
Can you really shake my hand? Can you really shake my hand?
And I said that you're dressed like Donald Trump.
Oh my God, civility is done.
You came dressed like another. What are you talking about?
You have a problem with me, with the way I'm dressed. I'm wearing the American flag. I'm wearing American colors, red, white, and blue. Because you just said you have a problem. You made my point for me, bro.
It's like the most Nazi shit. How can you hate me, brother? I'm in red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
what I said was that you're trying to say that because of I support Barack Obama, that has to mean that I support everything that he did. You support Donald Trump.
You're splitting hairs, bro.
You literally, this is your argument.
You're turn. Look,
you literally support a man that had
You're splitting hair. I'm repeating what you just said back to you.
More drone strikes.
I specifically called out drone strikes. You think that means that I support any president doing it?
Donald Trump, and you literally.
You think you're literally having to put words into my mouth so you can exonerate yourself of the point that I made because you can't respond to it.
Your own argument.
No, you called Barack Obama the greatest president that ever was, and I said, do you endorse his drone strikes? Yes, you did.
I said he was a great president.
So you think killing civilians makes somebody a great president?
Oh my God. I'm envious. I try to do this. I try to think like, how can I be disingenuous? But these guys like live it and breathe it. It's like, they just, oh my God. It's like muscle memory to be bad faith for these dudes. Holy shit. I think you'd have to practice. You got to find like the most abusive part. You should be able to go to like on abusive Tinder and find like abusive partners and like practice being, or like you get to shadow somebody abusively for the day, right?
So do you think Donald Trump was a great
It's just second nature.
president?
I think he's doing a pretty good job compared to
you think a pretty good president is someone who had more drone strikes than Barack Obama?
I don't endorse drone strikes. No, I don't.
So it's almost like that's a wash then.
We're stuck in the same point. We're going around. I feel like we're going around in circles. Let's just take it back for a second.
Because it didn't work out for you. That's kind of how that went.
Yeah, you can frame it however you want, but that's not actually what
I don't think libs
I think the people
like this one.
I think the people at home can see a lot better that you hate America and that you really proved my point for me. You literally said you have a problem with me wearing this suit.
Where I have,
yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're going back in circles. I'm trying to move the conversation forward. It's got nothing to do. I could argue about this for my whole life, but I think the good people at home would rather see something different.
Yeah, I'd pivot too if I were you. It's not working out well for you.
You can say whatever you want to save your ego. Here's the thing. Okay? Prove to me that you don't hate America. I gave you a bunch of data. Show one piece of policy from Democrats that's been good for the working class.
You asked me to prove whether or not I love America. I love America.
No. That's not what I asked you. That is not what I asked you.
Wanted me to prove
I asked for one piece of policy.
My grandparents worked their entire lives.
Look, the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is one of the most dishonest, self-serving parties in the history of this country. Well, it's been like this forever. Okay? Ilhan Omar got into office. Okay, so defend Ilhan Omar. She got into office with negative net worth of $45,000. She's worth $60 million now.
I'm not here.
Is it 60 million? Didn't she marry some guy who's rich? You want to talk about wealth accumulation? Bruh, Trump is, I'm sorry, you can't talk about, you lost that talking point for the rest of your natural life. I'm sorry, you really just can never bring that up again. Democrats have like 5 or 10 scams in them before I even want to hear somebody complain about these motherfuckers. Donald Trump is suing his own government right now, the IRS, for $10 billion. Like, you've lost the right to complain about scams basically forever.
to talk about
AOC just went on Stop the Oligarchy tour, spent $50,000 on luxury hotels and Bad Bunny concerts. How is that loving America?
Wait a second. I just want to make sure that something's clear.
No, just explain that to me. No,
Oh my God, hold on. Did we just mind meld? Wait!
I just want to make sure this is right.
Uh-oh.
You're trying to say that someone increasing their net worth.
Oh, we're mind melded. We're
in
mind
government
melded.
per se
Oh,
is
we're
indicative
there.
of someone who doesn't care about America, right?
I think enriching yourself on the backs of Americans when you're there to serve is inherently dishonest, corrupt, and it is.
Why would you? Oh my God. Oh my God. He's a spider weaving his own rope that he's about to hang himself with.
Anti-American.
You think so?
Yeah.
How much has Donald Trump's net worth increased since he's been the president?
I know that he spent for a fact over $600 million in wrongful lawsuits that were brought by Letitia James and all of these crazy Democrats in the judicial.
How much?
How much?
$600 million in lawsuits? How much are your legal fees? What the fuck? I understand corporate litigation get expensive. $600 million? What's the source for that? Does that include like him losing and like the penalties he has to pay, or what? $600 million on lawsuits? Damn, this motherfucker just funded the big five in New York. What is it? Is it the five big law firms, whatever, for the next 2 years? 5 years? 10 years? I wonder how much revenue at least 2 years. I have no idea.
What?
How much has his net worth increased since he's been president in 2025?
Well, you tell me.
$3.3
billion.
He also had to spend.
Oh, he's wrong. 3.9 billion? Oh, 3.4 billion. It's even bigger.
He also had to spend $600 million. He also had to spend $600 million on these lawsuits that you guys, these frivolous lawsuits that you guys are bringing up.
Has made more money off the
He's been an independent businessman his entire life. He still owns golf courses. His son Eric, still runs golf courses.
So if your own
holy, the wine moms. Oh, never mind. Not a wine mom, a black queen. They're out on Twitter. A brazen abuse of power and an insult to democracy. 47% of VA voted Trump. They will now just get 9% of the seats. 52% of VA voters voted Harris. Now they get 91% of the seats. Y'all started it and we finished it. Oh my God, she got him. Oh my God. Oh, who's running this account? What? You're a senator. Work on your vocabulary. I've learned that being politically correct is lost on haters, so I speak the language that they understand. Oh my God.
Logic is that making money in public office is indicative of someone who hates America. I would say the guy who's made more than anybody else in the history of America probably hates America,
this is
right?
An absolutely false equivalence.
That's not how that works, did it?
This is an absolutely false equivalence.
That didn't work out well for you.
This is a false equivalence.
Your campaign is going to be struggling after
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be fine, okay? Do you have a problem with Congress people enriching themselves off of insider trading?
I believe that we should ban insider trading 100%. And I support John Ossoff's
So are you going to call out the people in your party?
Here's the situation. You just made an argument that making money in public office is something that is inherently indicative of someone who hates America. You're literally cheerleading and dressing like the man who's made more money off the presidency than anybody else in history, and you don't want to call that out. Partially because he went and created a crypto coin. Partially because he created a crypto coin that he literally used taxpayer dollars to go meet with people as a result of those things. The crypto coin that he created.
What you're saying?
You don't want to talk about that, do you?
To begin with,
the crypto coin?
These are all, bro.
Do we know
he was
who's investing in his crypto coin?
He was a businessman to begin with.
Let me ask you this: do we know who's investing in Trump's crypto coin?
Lay it on me.
Do we know?
We don't.
Lay it on me.
We don't know. We can't know.
If you don't know.
We don't know. We can't know.
He is literally making money, billions of dollars, off of a crypto coin that he literally is pushing that we have no transparency on whatsoever. If that's not shady, I don't know what is. You have him literally spending our taxpayer dollars to go meet.
Okay. Now you know that I can't defend this. Come on, is this really fair to bring up?
With his crypto donors. And that doesn't sound like something that's inherently corrupt to you.
Who are the investors? What's the
and literally
give me all the information around it.
Here's what's funny about this.
We can't. We can't give you that. That's the whole point of crypto, you moron.
One of the people that he literally went and has done favors for in office are investors to his meme coin. It's so laughable to me that you guys can't even say. How about
why don't you name them specifically?
How about
name
this?
one person?
I don't know his name directly.
Exactly. Boom.
I don't know.
Thank you. You don't know what the hell.
Think of like every loser podcast. His name, like the Sachs guy, is probably one of them, right? Who's the Indian dude? Is that the Sachs guy? If I could remember these, if you just named like who are the wealthy crypto losers on his podcast, probably all of those guys. Chamath, yeah, he probably is one of them. I just guess. Chamath, Trump, crypto coin ownership. Does he have any? Held high dollar fundraisers for Donald Trump. Helping. Fuck, I don't know if they own any or not. Is there a way to find out? Somebody look it up. The crypto CEO guy who got pardoned or whatever? Yeah, probably.
Hell, you're talking about, dude. You're just making shit up.
Because I can't give you the name. You didn't even know.
Yeah,
You didn't even know that Trump increased drone strikes. What are you talking about? You literally have done this entire time.
I'm not sitting here and talking about stuff that I don't know. You sit here, you cite all this stuff. You can't have a piece of data to back anything up. Thank God you're not in Congress, dude.
You won't be either. So congratulations. I guess we'll both be sitting right there together.
You better not bet against me, bro.
Okay.
You better not
Who
bet
are you running against?
Who do you think I'm running against?
I don't know. Who are you running against?
Yes.
Who?
I'm taking Adam Schiff's old seat.
Good luck with that. You know what? Because last time I checked, Proposition 50 just passed, and Gavin Newsom just drew all of.
Oh, so he supports authoritarian gerrymandering.
You know what?
He supports it.
Oh, it's authoritarian when you gerrymander now?
Ow.
Here's
there
why.
you go.
Here's why.
Hates America.
Here's why. Here's why. Here's what it is. It was
You
the
hate
Republicans.
democracy.
Here's why.
You hate our constitutional
You don't want to let me
republic.
answer.
That's why you want
Does Paxton? Does Abbott?
Here's what it is.
Does Trump?
The Republicans in Texas redrew the state of Texas to take 5 seats.
And why did that happen again?
And you thought that Democrats were going to just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
So what happened? We drew the Republicans straight out of office.
He's going to give the pretext for why. Oh, they did that actually because the Supreme Court changed the law. They were all racistly drawn, by the way. They were racistly drawn. Only the ones where Democrats won, though, by the way. Those are the only ones I wanted to look at.
How about you just look at what happened? You're from Texas.
And by the way, let me ask you this.
No. Let me ask you this.
Will you support
because
Kevin?
You've got an absolutely false.
Will you support Kevin
Talk over each other.
Will you support
This
Kevin
is great.
Will you support Kevin Kiley's bill to ban partisan gerrymandering all across this country?
Before we get to that,
will you support Kevin Kiley's bill?
No.
Then why did the Republicans in Congress? Why don't they?
Well, let me ask you a simple question. You're from
Why did they
Texas.
not vote for the
Let me
Vote
ask you a
People
simple
Act?
question.
Why did they not
Let
vote
me
for
ask you a
the
simple
People Act to
question.
ban partisan gerrymandering?
Are you going to let me ask you the question? Or are you going to filibuster?
What do you
Let me
want?
ask you a simple question. Okay. So, do you know about Joe Biden versus Galveston, Texas?
No.
You don't know about that lawsuit? No. The lawsuit that triggered the gerrymandering in Texas. That was brought on by Joe Biden. The gerrymandering. So, Galveston, Texas tried to redraw the districts. They tried to draw minority coalition districts. They were sued.
For what? Congressional seats or what?
They were redrawing those districts back when Joe Biden.
Wait.
Let me ask you a simple question. Are you going to let me ask you the question? Or are you going to filibuster? Let me ask you a simple question. Okay. So, do you know about Joe Biden versus Galveston, Texas?
No.
Did Biden sue as a citizen? Joe Biden versus Galveston, Texas? I don't know anything about this. The Biden administration's DOJ. Okay, so then this would have been the US v. Galveston County.
You don't know about that lawsuit? No. The lawsuit that triggered the gerrymandering in Texas. That was brought on by Joe Biden. The gerrymandering. So Galveston, Texas tried to redraw the districts. They tried to draw minority.
Oh, or maybe he started this as a private citizen? I'm not sure. Hold on. Because I see on Wikipedia it says Biden v. Texas. Do they normally, if the president is the one that, no, wait. This is for Remain in Mexico. If the U.S. is doing a case against a state, is that normally given, would you title that as the name of the president who's in office, or would you title that in, Biden v. Texas was a U.S. Supreme Court case related to administrative law and immigration in which the court held that the federal government had the authority to revoke the migrant protection protocols unofficially as the Remain in Mexico policy. Texas v. Biden. Full case name, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States et al. V. Texas. Huh. Maybe if the U.S. is, maybe you call this, maybe it is by the admin name?
Coalition districts. They were sued.
For what? Congressional seats or what?
They were redrawing those districts back when Joe Biden was president. Joe Biden, they were redrawing districts in Galveston, Texas. I don't know specifically.
Now you don't know.
Bro, this is your state. You should know. You don't even know what I'm trying to explain to you, and you're trying to nitpick details. I'm explaining to you the decision and how we got to this point. You just said you don't know.
I tricked you. How about that?
Oh, great. Wow, so you're a liar. That's great.
I also appreciate that this guy knows a lot of shit too. I really appreciate that. There is no shortcut for knowing. He's known a lot of stuff. Like, he's known a lot of numbers. It seems like he's got a decent foundational basis for understanding things. I appreciate that a lot. Even if I think this guy's further to the left of me, I super appreciate this.
Wow, truly. The kind of politician we don't need in Washington.
Pause. We're out of time. Thank you.
Oh, man.